senior lady, and I want her to witness all of you as well. That's been missing, so 9th I'm trying to get her. So we'll have a little session from morning to around 9. At least we utilize that time on 2nd, this is the next Saturday, the second half for presentations.
We are not continue on 9.
No, 9th also it nahi hoga, we'll not be able to finish.
9 also carry
Yeah.
on.
So even if I have 90 minutes, 10 minutes, 9 people can present. No, usually 7 will present. So then I will have to push it to the next 15 minutes. So 2nd and 9th. Few of you are not there on 2nd. So make sure you attend on 9th. Or someone is not there on 2nd and 9th. We'll have to work around this, how to go about this. But please now make sure you attend. Whoever are there, make an effort to attend the next 2 months.
Last couple of sessions we can update.
Only one is not come up. Last wala that and Vega that I uploaded. Rest all are. So Mitra tak ho gaya. I was not there. In fact, the whole week I was not there. Sorry.
Danda is also on the way.
Danda is Shivasana Sarola. Is there? I'll give it to him. He's already there long time. Swami is back having so many videos. Swami is there, Amartya is there, Janpada is there, Durga is there, Kosha aaj hoga. और Danda, I'll just check on Danda. Mitra नहीं है मेरे को पता है because I was not there. Mitra वाला जो last time क्या हुआ do it. Tomorrow or day after max we'll have all the meetings. So you can review the sessions and then make your presentations. Okay. We'll quickly cover Kosha's theory part right now. There are the 7 pillars, and there is the 8th pillar as well, which is not mentioned, but we have to understand that there is the 8th pillar. Chanakya also goes about that the Shastra talking about the 8th pillar, but it's very subtly he talks, because as we see the way Arthashastra grows from book 6 onwards, it starts talking about each of this pillar, each of these elements, and then without numbering the element, he talks about another element, which is the 8th element. So we'll talk about that as well. So starting with the 7th one, the 7th one was Mitra. He kept Kosha for the end. He wanted Venkateswar to come and talk first. So the final one, Kosha, the most important one from Arthashastra point of view. A lot of people even misconceptualize Arthashastra the way I did as book on economics. Right? Arthashastra Hindi translation, if you do, bolte ki Arthashastra is all about money, which is to an extent, but Arthashastra is not only about money, right? We saw that there are other 6 pillars as well to be working with. Now coming to the most important part, finance. Money is what we're going to talk. And talking about money, how many of us are known to something known as TVM? Time value of money. How many of us know what is time value of money? Time value of money कितने को पता है? No, 1, 2, MBA finance, right? 2, 3, yeah. Rest all, ठीक है. Talking about time value of money, which is a very important part of anywhere where money is involved. If I have 100 rupees today, will it be 100 tomorrow? No. Why? Still have 100 rupees per year. Inflation depreciates. What goes down? Purchasing power goes down. The value remains the same. Yeah. So what do I do? So if there is 100 rupees lying in my pocket, is it going to reduce its value tomorrow?
It cannot lose its value tomorrow.
Then
Loses its purchasing power.
use its purchasing power, right? As a business, so does it make sense for me to keep money in my current account?
No.
No, right?
No.
What should I do?
Transfer it to your savings. Current account is the money you require on a daily basis.
Okay.
Right?
Checking account.
Yeah. So once you don't need it, it has to be transferred to your savings. And if you need it, move it in and then use it.
Saving.
No, even savings
Save-
doesn't make sense.
Savings you can do if you have your own business, individual as a person that business.
Save
Companies.
Save investments. SIP mutual fund,
Invest.
liquid, when you can withdraw also.
Liquid fund.
Yeah. So I think few people are aware, are everyone else aware about what we are talking here?
No.
No.
Invest your business.
Yeah. So if my value is going to depreciate, I have to make sure that the value of that 100 rupees is not going to depreciate. Right? And how do I make sure that it is not going to depreciate? Is by putting money into some kind of an instrument, some kind of a product, or some kind of an investment which is going to give me returns. Right? So starting from as small as something known as a liquid fund.
Power of multiplication. Use power.
Yeah, liquid fund. And going on and on and on and on, then you have the final one is equity fund. We know this. Mutual funds are still in liquid fund. आज पैसा डालो, कल निकालो. Every single penny which you have, right, can maximize your return. And I at times tell corporates that make sure you manage this cash flow very well. Because if you can manage this cash flow well, right, even the amount of money which is like, so for example, you get a payment on Thursday, you have to make a payment on Monday. Can you utilize your money in these 3 days, put it into some kind of fund and get returns out of it? Yeah. Can you make sure that you maximize single penny of the money which is coming to your business or your account? If you're going to look at this, you need to have something which is in place, is your systems, your processes. Right? Are we all, as business people or people working, having very clear understanding of where the money is coming from and where it is going every day? Yeah. So basically your receivables and your payables. I'm not trying to be, I would say, not ethical or something like that. Can I improve on my receivables as much as I can? And can I delay my payables as much as I can?
Yeah.
How do we do that? Again, am I aware? Is my awareness level high? ये payment कब जाना है? After sitting here, we decide to pay our light bills and telephone bills only on the last day when it is due. We make sure we pay it on that or a day before. Okay. Because we want to use that money for the 15 days time we get after the bill is generated. But we don't even want to miss out on that day because after that there's something as a penalty.
It's very simple, right? There are 3 amounts on the bill. One is if you prepay it, you get that kind of a discount.
Yeah.
Or you pay it after the date.
Yeah. So there's a, in fact nowadays light companies come up with those things that if you prepay, there's a discount on it. You pay it on date and whatever your bill is, and if you pay after the date, then, so we usually target the prepaid date because we also get a discount. Okay. But can everyone run a system and process in a company where all this has been taken care of? Do we miss out on our bill payments, mobile bill payments, and then we pay fines? Because we forgot a date.
Credit card bill.
Credit card payment. Oh, I have never missed out. That's one thing. It's a crime to miss out on credit card payments. So can we set up something like an auto debit system?
Yes, we can say.
What is an auto debit system?
Automatically debits your account.
But you don't keep your money in your current account or savings account as well because you want to maximize on that money as well.
So you said that minimum optimum level, no? For that.
Exactly, but that is why I'm talking about the system process which you develop, where you know when to pay what. Trust me, light bill, telephone bill, your chai pani, kharcha, nashta kharcha, all that will just be taken care of by just managing this. So by effectively utilizing my payment cycles, right, can I earn that little amount more which can pay off for this running expense of. It makes sense. Does bank miss out on a date? No, right? ये मैं तो जाना ही है. So time value of money for is very important from a business point of view to understand what time value of money is. You all understand this? You don't know this. I asked last time and I'll ask again. How many of us know how much money exactly is there in your wallet? Yeah, why? How many of us know exactly what is the outstanding amount on your credit card, except for the ones who are not using it?
I don't do that. That's right.
Yeah. Those are different people who are using it. Can you know your savings account in values, last 2 digits of your balance in your savings account? Even I don't. I'm just saying. But this is the kind of perfection if you want to run a business. Right? Did I tell you about the Citibank story, how the crime happened in Citibank? So when the first online system in Citibank moved from the books to the online digital system, the person who designed the whole system, he designed in a way that the chronological accounts which were created from A to Z, and another account here was Z. Zing Zang, just giving an example. Smartly, what used to happen is every day in the night when the day used to change, 1 cent, 1 cent from every account from A to Z used to float down and come into this account
Every day.
every day. None of us are keeping track of this, right? It's only when someone opened an account whose name was probably Zinsack, which went below this Z, realized that every day in the night there's millions of dollars getting credited into the account. And then he went and reported to the bank. Why is there so much money getting credited in my account? And that's when Citibank found out that there is a fraud going on where money like this is getting accrued. Why? Because none of us look at this. Well, how someone played on human psychology and creative fraud. So I see a lot of people who write accounts by hands, and they still do it. And I fail to understand why do they do this. And I, in fact, I've met few people also. Yeah, and that is when they say that we know it right when we are hand writing it. Because when you just putting that sigma there, the sum total is coming in on your Excel, you're not worried about the exact numbers. When you're handwriting it, you are running through those numbers. But the more we get closer to this perfection, the more effective use of money will happen. So that is what we're talking about now. Let's see what Chanakya says about Kosha. It is the backbone of any business. A strong and well-managed treasury is the heart of any organization. Two things. Treasury is different from cash flows, right? And treasury needs to be very strong and well-managed. Strong, obviously, because the size of what we're talking about. Strong means how big is your treasury, and well-managed is all of we spoke about right now, and how effective your wealth management system is. Next point, what is a treasury? Justly obtained, either by inheritance or by self-acquisition. Rich in gold and silver, filled with an abundance of big gems of various colors and of gold coins, and capable to withstand calamities of long duration, is the best treasury. Few points here. First thing, justly obtained. Again, ethics. This said that you can earn money in any manner. Ethical, unethical. This means, that means, white color, blue color, black color. But if it is not right to earn, it will not stay in your treasury for more than 10 years. And Indian Shastras talk about this. When I go to Shastras, people who have earned money the wrong way have different kind of implications on their own stuff. We find families who have earned money with the unjust way, have kids who are not rightly born. They are the special child who are born in those kind of families. The reason behind this is there is a kind of energy which is poor. Lakshmi by itself is treated as a goddess. So what kind of energies you are getting into your family or your house will make a lot of difference. So just the obtained thing is very, very, very important. I mean, again, Vijay Mallya What is it? Little Mala did very well. Father was did very well. Vijay Mala went on different track. And I don't think Vijay Mala, you need to see some.
No, he's not in peace, right? Vijay himself is.
Yes. See, Vijay Mala is one example we will be talk about him when he went for a media trial. He got into a media trial. He might have real justifying. But yeah, the ways and means used, money for which was money from where was earned.
You can say Vijay Singhal. Vijay Singhal, if you remember.
Vijay Singh has come to that in the next, very justly or not. No, the problem is with Gautam Singh. That is where the inheritance is coming. The inheritance money which is coming, the industry is inherited by him. But is it just now? Let's see where even goes ahead. So that's one thing. Now another thing we need to see in Arthashastra which talks about is by self-acquisition. The reason acquisition comes into picture in Arthashastra is there was nothing like deficit financing in Arthashastra. How many of us understand deficit financing? One. So let's say deficit financing, if government doesn't have money, what does government do?
On excess.
Taxes.
Additional tax.
Borrows from the Reserve Bank. How does Reserve Bank get money? Print. Right?
So World Bank.
So the government prints money, the government funds the project, government funds the economy by printing money or inflating it in a manner. That money which actually doesn't exist. Right? A lot of people say, LIC present to the government छाप के भी पैसा देगा. छाप के पैसा देगा economy. But that's okay. So again, acquisition and deficit financing. Arthashastra never had a concept of deficit financing. The whole economy was based upon acquisition. If you understand in olden days, अगर राज्य के पास नहीं है, तो राजा will go and attack the neighboring kingdom or anywhere else where the resources and go and acquire them. It only since I would say the gold standards move out. So initially. This century only. So it is only when we had a norm of having gold. So a lot of older people will know पहले ऐसा था government को अगर नोट छापते तो सामने इतना gold होना चाहिए, right? But that gold standard moved out. Helen Greenspan is getting gold standard. America was the first one to do that. We moved out of the gold standard. So now the government doesn't need to have any kind of asset against printing the money. Right? The US was the one to do that economic structures across the globe. So once that moved out, the deficit thing started coming. Government started printing money. Then they said, why gold? The whole resources of the country are something which we are placing in this. Right? The mines in the country, the rivers in the country. Everything that the government owns is being placed against that. So we went into a very different structure. That's where the deficit thing came. Before that, so there are people who ask economical questions at the time. Ask us, does Chanakya believe in deficit financing? We said no. Chanakya doesn't believe in deficit financing. मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, मेरे अकाउंट में सैलरी नहीं आई है, और if there is no money in my account, there is nothing like credit card at that point. Right? Borrow right now and pay on. That is what the concept comes here from. So let's debate on this personally when we are that should we work on deficit financing ourselves or should we work on just on actual. No, loans existed, but loans existed against a security. Yeah, the security. गिरवी रखना है. गिरवी was the word. तो ऋण लेना है तो ऋण के सामने गिरवी रखना है. अगर गिरवी रखने के लिए कुछ नहीं है तो खाली क्रेडिट कार्ड शायद तुम्हें. So there is nothing like unsecured. Again, the different words, terminologies we can get in. So there is no deficit. Another thing which we need to understand from this particular thing, capable of withstanding calamities of long duration is the best treasury. How many of us can sustain our businesses? Or I would say, for how many years can all of us sustain our businesses if there is no cash flow coming in? For how many years? Anyone has an idea about that? Can anyone say how many years can you sustain this? 4 months. Have you ever prepared for something like this? Okay, let's forget businesses. Let's just talk about individuals. You have something known as an emergency fund. If I'm not able to earn, I fall in. Self-employed. What is the kind of reserve we have? It is said in financial planning you should at least have 9 months of reserve funds. So monthly expenditure, especially in business point of view, monthly expenditure into 9 times. Right? 3 quarters, you should have it as a reserve fund plan. And which needs to be in a liquid asset where maybe a fixed deposit which can break any time. This did not go into a long-term investment. Contingency fund. 9 months. There are businesses around the world which can survive even 10 years without business, and the businesses will go on without any kind of income. They are IT companies, especially IT companies because they don't have that many overhead. Google by itself, Google is said to have some 80 years of time. If Google doesn't start making any money, it still survive for 80 years. That's what it says.
The same number of people,
Yeah.
no layoffs.
Again, they might have their own specialized calculation and they might be high-end financial calculation beyond behind when they say that this kind of contingency fund lies with them. Yes. And I'm sure they invest a lot many things because they would have kept contingency in liquid for 1 year, but after that other one is going to some kind of real estate investment. So there is a reserve which is there, which needs to be clear. That brings sustainability. And for a kingdom, what long duration, let's say for a duration. There's a calamity, there's drought. How will the kingdom survive? Yeah? When it's through. All undertaking are dependent first on the treasury, therefore he, the leader, should look at the treasury first. How many of us have read Robert Kiyosaki? 1, 2, 3, wow. So is everyone known to the cash flow quadrant?
Yeah.
And what are the 4 types of people?
Employee, self-employed, businessman and investor.
Investing.
Yeah,
Maybe
quick,
yes, sir.
let's take you through that. Yeah. For the ones who don't know, I will just quickly explain this. E is someone who is employed. Employee or an employee. I am working for someone. Someone is paying me salary for the kind of thing. The second thing which I know from here is something known as a self-employed. What is a self-employed?
Teacher,
Doctors.
Doctors, lawyers,
Professional.
chartered accountants, any other profession. But the caveat here is the person himself is important. One, cricketer and actor is self-employed. Like a singer is self-employed. Because that person himself is important. If that person is not giving that many number of hours or is not giving in the inputs, that person cannot work. That's where self-employment comes. Then is something like business. How is self-employed different from a business?
Because the person is not required. Business can run on its own.
Okay. Business can
The
run on
source
its
of
own.
income is not the person.
The source of income is not a business.
You are
The others,
the person is not engaged in it, so that is not. So, for example, teachers are personally engaged over it. Businesses, that's not the case. Something, so teacher, the difference will be something like a private tutor and Mahesh would do it. So, like the Mahesh,
Mahesh.
yeah, Mahesh.
Again, there is a point here. But then, there is an example which I'll tell you. A guy who had some money to be borrowed, money to be taken, like he owed someone money. And he called up that person's office and said, when should I come? So the secretary picked up the phone and said, the boss is not there. Don't come." But the guy still walks into the office. He goes and talks to that receptionist and he says, I'm here because I haven't collected money. The The receptionist gives the same answer. Was not there. Not here. Like, not yet, but not today. But the guy sits outside the reception and says, no, I'm waiting here, don't worry. The guy keeps waiting. Post afternoon, the guy who had to pay money comes out from the office itself. And he says, my secretary told you that I'm not there in the office. My receptionist told you I'm not there in the office. How did you know that I'm there in the office? Any guess? Today में गाड़ी खड़ा था बाहर. Okay, the answer this guy gives us. So when I saw people in your office, everyone was working. And that is what the point here is with businesses. I tell my dad, why do you go to the factory which is one is in Kosha, the other one is in Dahej, and why do you travel every day and visit your factory? What do you do there? He says, I don't do anything. I'll go and sit. Gujarati is gadi garam, just to warm the chicken. So even in businesses, it is important that the boss is present. Kasitaram, Mithaiwala, how many of us have been visited? You will find that owner sitting on that cable there, doing nothing. He's not making any of the mithai, he's not on the counter giving. But his presence there, galle pe baithna jo bolte hain, that is very important. That from a business point of view is very important. If the boss is not there, your office is going to go in a very different direction. With the shop which we're talking about, the business which we're talking about, the boss is not going to sit on the chair. It's going to go in a very different direction. It's very important that the boss at least comes, sits. That's where businesses come. In a business, though you are not the earning person, but your presence is still required. I, which is the investor. Warren Buffett, the best example. Rakesh Junior, Indian one. So these are people who earn by just investing their money, putting their money somewhere, and then they earn returns. So the flow is from being self-employed, from an employee to becoming a self-employed business, going, reaching an investor. So this is what the whole quadrant of the cycle is. What is called the star, I'm forgetting the name, which Robert Kiyosaki used. If someone has not read the book, please read it. It is very important. Rich Dad Poor Dad. And if you are already a person working somewhere, planning to start a business, going to a startup, there's another book known as Before You Quit Your Job, by Robert Kiyosaki. Before you quit your job. So it's not about quitting a job and going to another job. So before you quit from an employee and going to be self-employed. So that's another book which is very well written. Next thing he talks about is how should what should be my financial target? Typical balance sheet looks something like this. See, for example, this is where my assets are. What are our assets? Anyone? What are common under your assets in your balance sheet?
Cash.
Women, not women.
After the
Machinery, the land itself,
Any immovable,
Movable is well.
anything which can be converted into cash.
Anything that can give me money.
Money, yeah.
Right. So now appreciating assets and depreciating assets.
Depreciating is something like machines, yeah.
Mobile
Which
phones,
loses
electronics.
value after lifetime.
So what should you put your money?
appreciating.
Appreciating assets.
Land.
Are you clear on this appreciating assets?
But even land is considered as a depreciating asset in a house.
No, but it appreciates.
Land,
appreciates, but
land will
it's
never qualify for depreciation.
Buildings qualify for depreciation.
Building qualify for depreciation of land.
Structure, construction.
Construction of building is depreciable, not your land. Land never depreciates, land only depreciates.
But in balance sheet, it is
No,
not.
not land.
Never.
Unless it is used, I will tell you when it is also. Unless it is used for something like a mining land or a chemical factory land which needs to be, even for that also there is something that is a fund which you need to keep aside, where you need to recreate that land and put it back in shape. So that is, for that land is always an asset. Liabilities. What are my liabilities?
Loans
It
payable.
is something which takes
Loans
money
payable.
from.
Loans payable.
All papers.
Okay. Can there be
It's in the market.
So there is appreciating assets and depreciating assets. Can there be good liabilities and bad liabilities? How do we differentiate? Good liabilities, so let's say bad liability. What are bad liabilities?
Paying off loans. Paying off loans.
A loan is creating an asset, no?
No,
That's a good life.
paying off loans is not a liability.
Sometimes liabilities are, suppose I have required a cash flow, and my business is growing, so I'm taking a bank loan. I'm putting it in business and I'm making money out of it. I'm paying the interest as well as the principal amount. So that is a good.
Very good liability. What is the bad liability?
You have overspent something and not able to pay. Something which you don't require and you invested. Can be best investment.
Credit card shopping.
Yeah.
Terrible liability.
Credit card shopping is not a bad liability. If a credit card shopping, if you use smart, it's a good liability. Because
Talking
if
about-
you pay it on time, it's a good liability. Because you're going to use that money for free for 30 days. Right? And you can use that money, keep that money in your savings in order to earn interest out of it and pay it off. But if you miss the payment, finance charges, late payment fees,
3%.
yeah, and interest, that's a bad liability. So we know what a liability is, good liabilities and bad liabilities. I'm buying a car on my personal name on EMI. Good liability, bad liability.
Good level.
Depends on.
Personal name.
Yeah, but mobile phone is a good liability.
I said personal name.
No, no, if I'm using for my business,
Yeah.
so I put in business.
As long as I can claim expense.
Car for my personal name. Personal use, personal name.
Personal use is
So bad liability.
Bad
bad
liability.
liability.
Unless I'm buying with my company's name and I'm trying to manage my balance sheet to get depreciation and interest in the order, right? So liabilities are also debts. I would put it debt. So good debt and bad debt. Whenever I'm borrowing money, am I borrowing for a purpose where I'm going to get appreciation out of it, or the money is going to depreciate? Buying a mobile phone on EMI. Worst thing that you can do. Any electronics, anything you buy on EMI which is will be a depreciating asset. Are you clear on this too? Now the idea what Robert Kiyosaki talks about is your income which comes in, the amount of money which you earn every year, right? That should go to your assets. Alright? But if I have loans on me, this money is going to my liabilities.
Sorry, I missed one.
Income which I am earning every year.
Okay.
That income is going to my assets, ideally. Should go into my savings, my EMI, SIPs, I pay money or I invest money somewhere. Going to my asset. But if I have loans, my income is going to pay off my liabilities, right? Now, the income can also go into my expenditure. Where I'm going to spend money. I'm eating out, I'm going for a movie, I'm buying clothes, I'm going on a holiday, blah 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 blah. So all the expenditures also happen out of my income. Right? And this is what I'm earning as an employee by giving the number of hours in the organization, or self-employed by giving those number of hours in my services which I'm giving, or as a business person who is basically running a business and making some money out of it. The next thing what he talks about is, so your idea is to reduce this liability. Idea is to get out of this payment somewhere and managing these expenses. So I'm putting my money more into investments. And the formula which he uses there is income minus savings equal to expenditure. income minus savings is equal to expenditure. Not income minus expenditure equal to savings. So, can I decide the amount of investments I want to make every month? Especially for small investors, there is an SIP which we do. Can I have my investments fixed every year, every month? And then whatever is left, I adjust my lifestyle according to the savings. So, the formula moves here is income minus savings equal to expenditure, not my income minus expenditure equal to savings. Clear on this one? Now, what he talks about is, can I increase my assets to an extent? Can I increase my assets to an extent where my asset starts giving me income and this income pays for my expenditure?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Property,
Rental income.
lease. So property is appreciating as well, lease.
Any kind of income, not only property, your dividends can be,
Interest.
your interest can be. So you have to make an investment and you make your assets of that size, and your asset starts paying for it. And this is where you actually move out of this circle. And then I would say from somewhere from here you come in this particular quadrant where your asset starts paying for it. I no more need to work for money, the money has started working for me.
It's not right.
Well,
So
intellectual properties will have royalty. The difference also. But and then this income which comes in, I manage my expenditure. So as an individual, I have gone out from the whole earning cycle, and the whole earning money here is my asset. And then eventually also comes a point where whatever your asset earns for you, you redeploy that into your assets and do something as a reinvestment.
Can you give me an example of that? Income minus savings equals expenditure?
So I earn income minus, I earn 1 lakh rupees a month. I have a fixed, I bought a property, I pay EMI of 40,000. I have 2 EMIs going of 10,000 each. So I'm making total 60,000 rupees I'm investing in. Right? So my income of 1 lakh minus my savings of 60,000 gives me 40,000 which I need to spend every month. Whereas what happens to a lot of people is, income I 1 lakh rupiah, I'm going to spend. At the end of the month, what is left with me? That is it. Usually, if you're working with that kind of mentality, you're not going to save it. I don't know. If anyone has a countarian, you do it. So you need to fix this instead of fixing this. Yeah? Especially people who have bought houses know it too. बनते बनते घर बन गया, वो property ले दिया लोगों ने, खरीद लिया और EMI बनते बनते बन गया वो. Right? Because that has put a pressure on you to pay that EMI every month. The SIPs are the best way of investment because you know every month it comes and you have to pay it. You don't miss it. This is what your cash flow quadrant is. Please read the book. I love that book because for me, whatever financial things I have learned, this is where it came from. I did my rich dad. Yeah. So now, 4 points. 4 stages of wealth creation is what Dr. Shastra talks about. Stages of wealth. We talk about all that in 4 stages. First one, wealth identification. Identify how am I going to make money? Am I going to start working as an employee? Am I going to start doing a business? first you have to identify how will you make money. Identification of it. Second one is creating that wealth. You create. And target is, how many of us want to retire? Or, a lot of people are retired here, but how many of us want to retire at the age of 45 or 40? You want to, like, how?
When your money works for you.
That even I know, but how will you do it?
By investing more in assets so that all your expenses are taken care of by those assets and I don't have to work for my daily expenditure.
How will you do it? How? Theory wise I know, how will you do it?
As in,
What is the amount of money you will create?
so 67.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
What age you want to retire?
45.
45. How much money you need at 45 to retire?
No, I haven't planned.
At least
You have to take into
you have to
consideration.
How?
consider inflation.
How?
Exactly.
How से पहले how much आता है?
See, basically,
I know the formula inflation. How? How much? You know what number, what amount you're looking at retiring at what age you are.
three things which we consider.
What is we consider?
See, there are changes, possible changes, education is one, technologically changes will change, cases will require to buy and invest that also. So, current, what are the current expenses and current inflated?
22 years old? Age 22. Retire at 40. How many years will you live?
80. 100.
60.
Yeah, 100.
At least 80, 85.
80 life expectancy today is 80. How much money do you need per month and what is the expenditure for?
Right now, 25.
25,000? 25,000 is your monthly expense as of
Marriage, sons, kids.
now.
The whole family, na?
You not get married, no? Not married.
Of course not 20. We're eligible. Okay, coming back. So, this is at 22, his monthly expenditure is 25,000 rupees. Okay. Now, he wants to retire at the age of 40. If he has to continue living the same lifestyle, not getting married, staying single if he wants to, continue the same lifestyle, will he get to know how much money he will be spending at the age of 40?
60% every year.
Exactly. Compounded multiplication of 6 to 7% depending on the inflation which you are looking at. And historically, India has been inflating around 6.5-7%. Only 7% से compounded growth करूँगा. And I would look at a value which comes 25,000 compounded growth for the next 18 years. Whatever value I get here.
Then
1,08,000 is what you need. कितना है? Compounding will give you crazy figures. So
no, but you
we're not
also,
running a wealth management or financial class, but I'm just giving you a theoretical understanding of it.
then you also need
The
that
person
much
living-
amount rest of the
Yeah.
For 4
Yeah,
people,
yes.
into 4,
Right?
because you have an extended family, at least 4 people in the family.
he remains bad.
So we
अरे basically remain bachelor तो खर्चे और होंगे.
Example is now we are working.
So we came up to the understanding that we will remain single. Remain happy in life, that's what we say.
Yes, they have not been.
So this is where what you will be. Now the point is, this will grow for next 40 years. You understand what is the amount of cash flow you need for next 40 years. And that will bring him up something known as a corpus fund. Corpus fund given. मेरे हिसाब से 1 लाख रुपया आ रहा है. Okay, then if I have to calculate even 6% return, that is 6, at least 50 lakh rupees के आसपास कुछ. Taking the inflationary amount into consideration. So for example, if I'm just taking an example, if 50 lakh rupees comes in as a corpus fund which he will need after 18 years to sustain this lifestyle for this 40 years of his retirement, Right?
50 lakhs when you say 6 lakhs, I want to
I'm taking an example, sir.
But if we take 1%.
They are not having a math class, otherwise I would have get my financial guys.
6% is 2 crores.
6% is 2 crore, it is 1% if we take.
Whatever. Let's put this as X.
Then I put the numbers.
My X will like it. Let's give it as X amount is what we will need here. Can we reach this number financially?
Yes.
Can your financial calculators and your Excel can give you these numbers? If someone cannot, I will help them run these numbers on an Excel. This is the corpus which he needs to build. And now he has 18 years from here to make this corpus. How many of us have these numbers in place for ourselves?
I'm working on it.
Sir, I think you are almost here now. Good done. People who are younger, who are running towards the financial retirement. This is your financial retirement, it's not a retirement. You have no financial retirement. Your activities get, in fact, real life will start after this. Then you will do what you want to do. Probably. If you're not working for what you like. Right? Because if someone asks me retirement, I say there is no retirement, I'm going to do all this throughout my life. But you have to at least get your numbers in place. Go online, go to any of this ICICI or go to any of the investment wealth management companies. They have an online calculator. Just put in your today's lifestyle.
Even
Okay. How many years you want to live, they will immediately throw you a number. At least get a number somewhere and then see how much investments you need to make every month.
20% you have to make the investment if you have to come with
25 to 30?
30% you have to save every month.
Yeah, see again there are different, depends na, I don't want to continue with this lifestyle sir. मेरे को Honda City से Mercedes पे जाना है अभी. So the point is, this can be different, it can differ from person to person.
No, but
Right? And the earlier you start, the longer time you have to make this. And law of compounding is going to give you much more returns over a period of time if you start early. It's simple, any insurance guy, any wealth management guy is going to give you all these tools. But are we having our numbers in place is more important. Are we just avoiding it because बहुत लोग insurance के लिए call कर रहे हैं? Go on any of the wealth management online websites, you can, I'll give you some. So are we clear on this part? Are we looking at ourselves, our financials around, can we at least make a resolution to get our numbers in place? How to go about it, what will we do about it? कैसे numbers achieve करेंगे, the different thing. Can we at least decide that this is where I want to reach? Can the goal setting happen? Yeah? So wealth creation हो गया. At 40 he has created this wealth. The second stage is done. Then comes wealth management. अभी purpose तो इसका करूँ क्या? Most of the people who earn lotteries or film stars who suddenly earn money, you know, Justin Bieber, right? People like those who suddenly got so much of wealth, they don't know how to manage it. Yeah? And then suddenly you'll see that in 3-4 years, 5 years time, when that fame is gone, that money is gone, they're back to the streets. I come from the state of Gujarat. A lot of people who had land, okay? And the land was useless. Gujarat, go to North Gujarat, is a very dry state. Right? A lot of farmers earned money because industries came. Industrial development happened. They sold their land for crores of rupees. After 7, 8 years, today 10 years, you go and visit them, they are back to what they were. They couldn't manage their wealth. So wealth management also becomes an important part of your wealth. And the final is wealth distribution. Warren Buffett donated 99% of his wealth. Okay? 99% of the wealth was also distributed amongst different organizations. In fact, the first check which Warren Buffett gave with his, did Radha sir speak to you about this? Yeah, so there's a movie if you all want to watch, Making of Warren Buffett. It's on Hotstar. Do watch that. Hotstar is starting something like Netflix. So Hotstar is the one which has it. Making of watch it. So the first check he gives it to his own son. 2 sons, 1 daughter. So both the sons he gives a check, and he doesn't give the money to his son in his name. His son even has a foundation, which is a charitable foundation. He gives donation to his son's charitable foundation, and asks his son to distribute this money, not to use his own money, not to use for his own self. Right? So we very, and if you will see anyone, starting from your Lucky Junior Walas to Warren Buffett or even Bill Gates for that matter, everyone says that the only reason why we are able to make this money because we just give back, give back, give back. Have you heard of the Bill Gates Foundation? Yeah. In fact, Obama Foundation, Obama is coming 1st of December to India for Obama Foundation. Giving away. Philanthropy is one important thing which is important in your wealth creation. Everyone does. Every Ratan Tata for that. So, wealth distribution becomes very, very, very important in this manner as well.
Wealth creation is fair. What do you mean by wealth identification?
How will I make money? You want to be a builder and make money. I want to be a trainer and make money. This is how I'm identifying wealth, the ways of creating money. Very important, I know where am I going to create this. When we spoke about this cash flow quadrant, I don't know if this is Apple. Razas is designing a game. Video for a board game which Sir has created. We all have played Monopoly, right? It's school days. Monopoly only talks to us about buying and selling businesses. It doesn't tell us how to get out of this rat race of I making money first as an employee or a self-employed person and then getting into it. So this game helps in basically creating that. It's a whole exercise. It says 2 hours, but it at least takes 4 hours for the whole game to get over. The 2 stages in that where first you start running your own self, manage your own self, of your incomes and then expenditures, make that asset as we discussed, make that asset for yourself and then eventually go into a mode where you are retired and you start moving from a businessman to an investor and you come across different issues because there is certain tax liabilities which come into picture, there is something known as your loan payments which come into picture. So all this is been taught in that. It's a game for people who don't know. You can arrange for a session if someone wants to play. We need 4 to 5 people. Those people can come for the game guys and make you play with it. It's a half a day exercise if you want to do this. is very important. Now coming on to another hot topic this day is startups. Very hot. In fact, today we in the university also we had a session on startups. Everyone's talking about startup. And it's pretty much tie statement. What are you doing these days? I'm having my own startup. And probably he's saying I'm unemployed. That's the way of saying it. So, the challenges which is faced by startups is one thing which I want to address. And especially another thing which has come up these days is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
A lot of people have come up to me to just ask me about blockchains and what is my call on Bitcoin, whether should we invest in or not. My dad called me one night and he says, Bitcoin future. So I said कि आपका 10 रुपया 1 करोड़ रुपया बन जाएगा ना तो भी मत करना. Right? So first of all, you have to understand what these things are, and from this concept of Bitcoin and value game only, I would want to explain how a startup should be and why most of the startups are failing. And a small video which I want to show on something known as Tulip Mania. How many of us have heard of Tulip Mania? Maybe finance, maybe marketing. Tulip Mania. In Netherlands, I think in the year 1917 or 20, someone came from Britain and brought in something known as tulip. We all know what tulip flower is, right? And it was so beautiful and smelling so nice that everyone wanted to have it and started selling on a premium. Demand went so high. People actually invested in tulips and bought houses out of it. Then what happened? I'm going to show you a video.
One of the most famous bubbles was the Dutch tulip mania of the 17th century. The purple and white tulip from Turkey was all the rage. Demand for the tulip was hard to keep up with, and the price went through the roof. Clever traders stockpiled bulbs to sell them later at an extra profit. This went on for a while. People thought the price of tulip bulbs could only go up, so more and more people bought them. This increased the demand even more, so that the price went up again. Tulip bulbs became impossibly expensive. In 1635, one tulip bulb was sold for 6,000 guilders, the price of a mansion on the Amsterdam Canal. No one wondered whether a tulip bulb was really worth that much. This is called a bubble. It went well until 1637. The price of tulip bulbs suddenly dropped just after hitting its ceiling. People suddenly realized you could grow tulip bulbs yourself. The bubble burst. The price plummeted to a fraction of the record price. The traders and speculators who still had tulip bulbs in stock couldn't sell them anymore at the high price they paid for them. They had to accept monumental losses.
Did you understand? Do you understand what happened? What happened?
The bubble burst.
How did
The
the
demand
bubble?
went down.
How did the bubble happen?
People realize they can grow themselves.
What's happening in Bitcoin?
There was no inherent value in the first place, and people went on buying in anticipation of value in the future.
Bitcoin can be mined.
Exponential.
Bitcoin can be mined.
Tulip can grow.
Not that an asset itself.
Perspective.
Bitcoin grow.
What is blockchain? What is blockchain? I'm little diverting from like, what is blockchain?
Basically peer-to-peer lending, wherein it is similar to each and every transaction is recorded by the fellow members who are inside the transaction. So
Anyone has heard of Liberty Reserve? LRs. So this is a secured system. If you're in the diamond community, you know this. A lot of transactions happen on a chip. Chip has 16-digit number. And I give that 16-digit number, the money is yours. Okay, so that will have a value, say, $10 lakh का एक chip has 16-digit, one done. How to get people someone give me a chip number? I'll go online, put that chip number in my password. Sophisticated or very basic language, I would say, even online hawala. What does blockchain do? Blockchain is a secure way of sending money from one person to another person. Right? If I have money, I want to send someone across the globe anywhere, it can go as a blockchain from here to there. No one can interrupt that activity. It's secure. That is where it is going to. It cannot be traced, I would say.
It can be traced in fact.
It can be traced, but no, it cannot be traced apart from you being an operator.
No, it is a trace.
It is basically bypassing the government somewhere. Right? So the point is, if I have 10 lakh rupees, I am paying someone 10 lakh rupees for a secure network. The value of 10 lakh should remain 10 lakh. Alright? Can that 10 lakh rupees become 20 lakh rupees? How?
How? Within the transaction.
If I am transferring by NEFT or RTGS, then how can it increase the value by the time it reaches you? Not right. If the money is lying in my bank account, money is just lying in my bank account, basic current account, can it increase?
No.
With savings account, there is bank who is backing it and paying interest, but the bank is paying interest because the bank is using that money to lend it to someone. Right? Or if I'm giving it to a company in terms of stocks, buying shares, and the company is using that money for expansion of production or for the development of the company, and producing something, earning money out of it, then paying dividends or price value appreciation. But if the money is just lying in my account without anything backing it, can it grow? Is there anything to back up as an asset to that? Right. This is why I'm addressing this challenge of virtual currencies which we are talking these days. Virtual currency is used for transaction from one place to another place, excellent. Right? We might go into the no state mode then. I don't know. But value enhancement of that is question.
The only exception is US dollars.
The only exception is US dollars, but there is a reason to it, right? Because
That's okay, but this is the only exception.
it's a world pegged currency, every currency is pegged against US dollar, and you can't question just printing the money. In fact, we just spoke about gold standards moving out, how Alan Greenspan removed the gold standard as well. So, again, coming back to here. So, when I'm running a startup company, my company का valuation इतना है, why am I getting into valuation game? Because I want an investor to come and buy. But is the company creating any money? There's everyone creating an app these days. What is the revenue your app is creating? Startups, most of them are creating a company. They're saying, I have a startup and I want an investor. But is there a cash flow behind it? How is it going to earn money? Can it only be value? Everyone is trying to play a game of valuation. I make it into a valuation, but there will be an investor who will come and buy that particular business, a percentage stake in it, right? At a valuation, I will make my money and I will exit the business. Is that what is happening? But I will call it, I am creating a business on paper and I'm trying to find a fool who can give me money for this business on paper, who would eventually go and try and find another fool. Till the time that you find a fool who is not able to find another fool and the whole thing crashes down.
But why will the investor invest if he's not going to make money from that? He won't buy it.
So people invested crore of rupees in stock markets. People invested in derivatives. People invested in CMOs and things like that. So let's not get that. People invest. People who have money at times doesn't mean that they're intelligent enough.
This is exactly what the tulip thing is.
Yeah, exactly what the tulip thing is. Why did everyone buy tulip? Credit default swaps. How many people understood credit default swap that they went and bought it? There are municipal corporations and cities in Europe who went and bought money with the public money. They went and bought CDS. Do they even understand what credit default swaps were? So, an individual छोड़ो, पूरा का पूरा companies, when they invest, they also don't know what they are investing in. based upon the past returns we work. Common sense is very important. That's the thing. Startups के लिए, according to me, only a startup that creates cash flows is going to survive. Valuations बाद में आएगा. And if a startup is creating cash flow, it will also be the one who will be running behind expanding the business and not behind finding a valuation to that particular business. Someone said if a person who is running a company which is listed runs a company looking at the stock exchange, that company is going to go down. Stock price देख के अगर कोई company चला रहा है तो that is not a company going to invest. So valuation should not be the focus for startups. The cash flow should. Yeah. Next thing. Be ever active. Be ever active in the management of the economy. The root of the wealth is economic activity. Again, because the root of wealth is economic activity. Inactivity brings in material distress. Without an active policy, both current prosperity and future gains are destroyed. India can never get into something known as depression or slowdown. Why?
Consumption itself is so high.
Consumption is high, even US has high consumption.
Parallel economy.
Parallel economy cannot be an answer. Parallel economy needs to be completely wiped out. Ever active. What is an economical activity? How does an economic, what do we say? Depression. Before depression, there is something which comes as slow down. Alright? And above slow down, there is something as how fast the economy is growing. Right? The GDP growth. This is not how much GDP is running, how much more GDP growth we are doing every year. How much GDP is increasing at. Right? अपने कंट्री में पूरा इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी अटक गया ना, तो भी एक रक्षाबंधन आ जाए. Exactly, the consumption will come in from festivals eventually. Diwali आ जाएगा, होली आ जाएगा, गणपति आ जाएगा. So if Ganpati comes in, okay, the Ganpati maker, the truck peoples, okay, people who are giving truck, those are the people. Your band walas, these are the people who are going to earn money. And they are going to eventually go and spend. दारू खरीदेगा, खाना खाएगा, जो भी करेगा करेगा. कलर वाला तक कमाएगा.
Like from painting your house to
Exactly.
buying the paper plate and
In Diwali, it is a compulsion. कुछ नहीं हुआ तो stock market में जाके मुहूर्त का सौदा भी करो. Which country in the world has a मुहूर्त का सौदा on their stock exchange? We do it. And that's the beauty of our culture. This is engraved. There is something known as Hindu rate of growth. Try and find out if someone knows who you are. What is Hindu rate of growth? Because of this cultural activities, there is a particular rate of growth which is assumed that India will always grow at. And with the size of the population, we will keep growing at that. So festivals are designed in a manner, and especially when होली कभी आता है?
March.
After
After
the
the crop is cut,
harvested.
harvested, right? So the
They get
farmer
money. They get the money.
farmer gets money,
Yeah.
and what is the farmer going to do with that money?
Spend.
Spend the money, right? Diwali कब आता है?
We say harvest.
See how it's about?
Yeah.
Look at the way the festivals are based as well. Is there any festivals during monsoon? आता है? भगवान का festival. कृष्ण जयंती.
Ganpati comes.
अगस्त सितंबर. Nothing in June. जून में कुछ नहीं. जून में जाके काम करो.
Earliest is the only Sankranti.
संक्रांति के बाद सीधा जन्माष्टमी. बीच में जाके काम करो, पहले खड्डा खोलो, जो करना है, do your farming, do your work. To that time when you do work, there is no festival. This is how our Indian economy, our own Indian cycle is designed. We have to understand this cycle, not understand that JFM cycle. You know, January to December का calendar is not what we are meant for. We are meant for a Diwali to Holi and a Holi to Diwali cycle. If you can adjust our businesses, if you can plan our businesses according to this cycles, then we will be able to maximize the returns. See your past or years, when has the maximum business happened? In fact, go and see the stock markets in the past years. Which are the months when stock markets have done positively every month? I just got a forward, someone has done a 10-year kind of a thing, month on month return on Nifty for last 10 years. And we can actually see that trend. These are the months when Nifty ends positively at the end of the month, and these are the months when Nifty ends negatively at the end of the month. And why is that? When you look at the month, you see the month in that, and you realize that this time पे economic activity कम होता है for this reason, and this time पे economic activity ज़्यादा होता है. Right? Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Active, the activity. So, because the root of wealth is in economic activity. Marwadi says, "Rupyo kitna ghumyo?" They don't look at what is the return. They see, is the money moving? क्या पैसा घूम रहा है? In US, when there was depreciation, depression, okay, they didn't know what to do. So what they did? Go and dig the roads and build the roads again. They just built roads. Yes. When Narendra Modi was running his campaign, he said कि मनमोहन सिंह जी आप इतने बड़े अर्थशास्त्री हो, ठीक है, लेकिन इकोनॉमी कुछ बाहर वाले देशों पे नहीं चलती है. इकोनॉमी चलती है वो खेत में काम करने वाले जो खेडूत है उनके पसीने पे चलती है. वो मजदूर जो फैक्ट्री में काम करता है उसकी मेहनत पे इकोनॉमी चलती है. Economic activity, if you can bring in, that is the thing. I mean, if you look at it from a government's point of view, the government does job creation. Job creation is for more economic activity. You will see now we are finishing 2017, we're getting into 18, a year where government is starting to spend money. Right? So if someone understands politics, we finished the years of taking difficult calls. Now we are into the populist year. The budget is also going to spend so much money. ये scheme आएगा, वो scheme आएगा. Already we have that infrastructure project which has been designed about the coastal highway belt which is going to be made. The banks are going to get recapitalized where the government is going to flow in so much of money. So economy is going to have money in the system. This money will bring in activity. Government spending. Spend करके क्या करते हैं? Activity created. That's what activity is important. Inactive, if you're inactive, distress, gone. That's to continuously grow. Stock markets look at companies which grow in their profitability every year. Some companies giving me the same amount of profit every year is not been looked upon as a very impressive company. If I'm making 10,000 crores this year, I should make 12,000 crores next year. Growth, yeah? Building wealth. Wealth will slip away from the foolish person who continuously consults the stars. For wealth is the star of wealth. What will the stars do? Capable men will certainly secure wealth at least after 100 trials. Start your work right now, do not wait for a muhurat. This is like doing exercise, right? When will you start? When will I? Next week. Monday. So basically wealth, Chanakya is so much for wealth. The first sutra of Praniti Sutra is Sukhasya Mulam Dharma. If you want sukha, happy, right? You need to be dharmic. Right? But Dharmasya Mulam Artham. If you want to be dharmic also, if you want to do righteous things in life also, you are going to need artha. Everything ends with artha. The whole of Kaupilya Arthashastra, there is not a single place where Chanakya talks about God. There is an average stage of both. One thing we need to understand is three things here. Daivik. I'll split it up. And Adi. There are three stages of realization. Adi Bhautik is the first one. Anyone understand this three? Let me first one. Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, and Adi Atmik.
What I understand is Bhautik is materialistic.
Perfect.
Daivik is God, spiritualism. Not spiritualism, but devotion. More of devotion, and Atmik is more spiritual. Spirituality. Religion, devotion. Devotion to anything.
Yeah. Anyone with more understanding? She's right. Adi Bhautik talks about very materialistic. You need 1 plus 1. You are taken. Adi Daivik usually gets into something like, I do prayer. There is a God, there is power who will help me. Ritualism, yes. It talks about black magic, good power, bad power, evil. And Adhyatmik gets you into that spiritual side. Everything about mind, body, and the soul. I am the soul out of you. Wealth is all here. Adi Bhautik is wealth. There is no prayer. There is no positive, negative. Okay. I cannot sit in front of a God, go to Mahalakshmi Mata's Mandir every Tuesday and pay to God and then it's going to come to me. Not going to do that. Shirdi Sai Baba के यहाँ जाके सोने का इतना चढ़ावा दे दो तो वेल्थ आ जाएगा. Chanakya says no. The whole of Arthashastra, Chanakya has never talked about any ritualism as well. कभी भी तुम पूजा, पाठ, nothing. कोई यज्ञ करना है, nothing. It's all about Adi Bhautik. Wealth is all here.
OMG is a very good example. OMG movie.
So the movie or okay. Yeah, a lot of movies on it, but so as we had discussed earlier, Sankhya, Yoga, Lokaya, there are 9 philosophies in Indian thinking. Yeah. Anyone 9 philosophies?
I know 9, but I'm not sure if I can remember them. Sankhya, Yoga, Charvaka, Jainism, Buddhism.
Vimamsa, Vaisheshika.
7. I don't know.
Nyaya, Vedanta.
Vedanta, I forgot this.
The 9 philosophies. Charvak is the philosophy which is more of the Lokaya philosophy. We have 9 different philosophies in our Indian scriptures, understand, of culture, whatever. Philosophy, Indian philosophy has 9 parts to it. And there is one part of it which is Lokaya or Charvak. Charvak is a little crude, but Lokaya is which talks about materialism. Right? So Lanka कैसी थी? अयोध्या में पैसा था? सोने की लंका. लेकिन भारत देश कैसा था? Some obsession with soda, like Indians always have this. So we are always obsessed with food. Bhautik part has always been very important in our culture. Spiritualism to है. We have always been rich as a nation in terms of wealth as well. And our philosophies of thought. Look at why, in fact, few Arabic writings when you go and see, they say this Indian sparrow sucks all the gold. That is how it is written. The translation which we read. The Indian sparrow sucks all the gold. सोने की चिड़िया वहाँ से आ रहा है gold. So what happened is we were so obsessed with gold even at that point of time. When traders used to come from Middle East and the northwestern region, and they used to come into India basically for opium. Right? Opium and cotton were two major crops in India, and the spices which we see were more of the Southeast Asia. So these people used to come to India and buy opium and cotton from here, right? And Indians used to demand gold. We still demand gold. India has gold demand right? Probably if India stops consuming gold, then the whole gold market in the world would probably just vanish. Yeah, again, it's a debatable topic. The government is saying don't buy gold, but Indians will never do that. So coming back to the materialism about gold, which we see this thing so wrong, has been there for ages. So the bhautik part comes in our philosophy since then.
So, how can you define them in one word or something distinct? Adi bhautik is materialism. Adi daivic is spiritual. Is
More of karma rituals.
Rituals, and Adi Advaita is spiritual.
Spiritualism.
What is this sentence? Capable men would certainly secure wealth at least after 100 trades.
So keep trying.
Excessively.
If you don't try, and especially startups, Ramana we discussed again. People try once and then they say, "No, that's wrong." I will go back. A lot of people who have done startups will say, "Ki nahi ho raha hai, let me go back to the job." But I would at least appreciate that person that you have started, taken that first step. Who are you? That is why this thing coming in. मेरा टाइम अच्छा नहीं है, समय अच्छा नहीं है. We talks about you don't get starts.
I don't understand. You mentioned these three things, Adi, Bhautik, and what is the significance of the money in these?
Bhautik part is
It
money.
is only money. So what about Daivic and Adi?
So that's what I said. Chanakya when he says don't consume stars and everything, it's only about Adi Bhautik. Okay, wealth has no spiritualism to it. You don't go to maybe भगवान के सामने बैठ के आप भगवान रिच बना दो, सेल डिमांड करो रुपीस का चेक.
Spirituality doesn't have money. So if you're spiritual, that person doesn't.
To reach spiritualism, you need to have money. Empty stomach, you're not going to do any spiritual work. But then remember that bhautik part is bhautik part. You have to create that. Sukasya moolam dharmam, dharmasya moola is artha. Last night, sir is already here. Regularly check your accounts. Leaders should check the accounts of for every day, group of 5 days a week, fortnightly, monthly, 4 months, quarterly, or in a year. How many of us at the end of the day have our left side and right side of our accounts balanced? Right? Especially people running businesses. Are your sales figures tallied at the end of the day? Is the total expense for the day tallied at the end of the day every day? Or at least are you having a weekly review about what your week was like? Right? All MIS system, reporting systems, sales processes, your reporting systems, financial systems, all that, is it there regularly? Are you getting your position on a regular basis? Even this we are talking from a small business point of view. I used to work in a company known as NJ India Invest. A lot of people know NJ because they're the largest mutual fund distributor in the country. And when NJ, Neeraj Bhai used to move out of his office in the night, he used to have exact how much amount of mutual fund is sold across the country on that day. No accounting thing goes to the next day. At the end of the day, all figures are recorded. Right? So that is how we are talking. You should have as much of your accountability, not only in terms of sales figures, but also in terms of your revenue, also in terms of the expenditures, everything through your MIS system available regularly. Reviews needs to be done weekly, quarterly, monthly, fortnightly. That's what Chanakya talks about. Keep regular check on your account. So this is a major thing which we spoke about. Service here, so I'm not going to take much of time. We'll take a quick 5 minutes washroom break and then come back and start the session. But so this is very short.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Venkat. Thank you for having me here. So I've been associated with Rakesh Mehon and Chanakya movement even before it was formally called as Chanakya Adviction. The first session that we did was at ITC Grand Central. great to see that the neighborhood has taken different shapes and forms, right? So delighted to be here in front of you. I'll give you a short introduction so that you understand where I'm coming from. Right? So I'm not an expert in everything. What I understand a little bit about is money or Kosha, right? So I'm a chartered accountant. I used to work for an audit firm called PricewaterhouseCoopers. It's a very large consulting organization. And subsequent to that, sorry, I was not audible. Here?
Yeah.
So subsequent to that, I was Chief Financial Officer or Head of Finance Department for two companies. One is called Eon. I don't know if there are any Manchester United football fans who Eon. They know about Eon, right? They got that nice red jerseys. So I was their CFO here. And then for a very large privately held real estate development firm from Houston called Hines. Right? Subsequent to that, what I do today is to run a company called My CFO. In My CFO, we have assisted 400 companies of different size and shape. So we do startups, we do some family managed businesses, we do entrepreneur managed businesses, we do private equity invested companies, and we do large multinationals. We also do large Indian diversified groups. So at one end of the spectrum, we do very large companies like say Unilever or Piramal Group, Mahindra, Star TV, Daron. So that's one category of customers. But we also do a lot of e-commerce companies. So Snapdeal, for instance, is a customer of ours. We do some very niche plays. We do, I'm a foodie. Okay, so we like to do food and beverage businesses. So Paradise Foods, which is a biryani company from Hyderabad, is a client of ours, right? So what do we do in all these places is we help people to improve the valuations of the company, right? That is a very simple bottom line. Okay, our job can be described in only one line. Okay, it is, I like to say that we are in a ODP business, right? So every day in the morning when you get up, do you feel hungry? Do you feel like having breakfast? Yes, no? Yes, right. And that need is recurring need, right? So similarly, Kosha is a recurring need for all kinds of people. It doesn't matter whether you are in a good situation or you are in a bad situation. If you are in a good situation, you need a good CFO to manage your surplus cash. You are thinking about investment options, you are thinking about treasury. If you are in a bad situation, you are trying to think about how to conserve cash, how to borrow money from banks, how to raise private equity. So in both cases, there is a need for finance. So finance is like breathing, right? What breathing is to the body, Kosha is to a business. Okay, so we are in the business of helping other businesses to breathe properly. Okay, that's a very simple way to understand. So what is an example of a success story? So probably our biggest success story, which is in public domain, is I don't know if you've heard of a company called SH Kelkar. Yeah, in Mulund. It's a very old fragrance company, 90 years. We joined them as CFO when the company's valuation was 320 crores. Okay, today the company's valuation is 4,800 crores over a period of 5 years' time. Okay. Now, how that valuation came, it is more than 12-15 times valuation. It is a question of discipline. It's a question of how you decide to run your finance function. Okay. So, most of what I will talk today is about how to use finance function to your advantage. Okay. Now, some of you may be students or you may be employees, so you will be thinking, okay, how is this session going to be useful for me? So, I will talk about your personal valuation. Okay, do you know what is your worth? What is your personal valuation? You forget about the assets you own. Don't count your home and car and any shares or mutual funds and all that. Do you know what is your own personal valuation? You can call it goodwill. What is the monetary value to that? How do we define that? Okay, so we'll take a look at that in today's session. And how do you maximize that? Okay, now I may come across it. So incidentally, I'm a close follower of Swami Chinmayanji. So I have got a very unique role. Okay, I have to be philosophical and spiritual at times, and I also have to talk money and be very materialistic. Okay, that's what I like about my job. So we'll try and combine both these principles. Right? Are these two different things? Is it possible to be spiritual and still make money? Or is it possible to make money and be spiritual? Or are these two different things? Okay. So in short, the session today is about valuations with values. Right? It's valuations with values. It is possible to improve and expand your valuations while staying true to your value system. Okay, we will not talk about anything illegal or any shortcuts to become rich. So I'm going to take 3 minutes to explain 3 principles. Okay, and I will leave you with 3 action points. And after that, we'll open it up to Q&A. Why I'm doing that way is because I want this session to be useful to you. Okay, you can ask me any question. Don't ask me questions about latest Bollywood movies. I don't watch. Don't ask me how to cook something. I don't know even how to make tea. But anything in finance, very happy to try and give you an answer. If I don't know, I'll come back to you. Okay, as I said, I don't know answers to all questions, but I promise to come back to you. Okay. So what are the 3 principles? So we'll spend 5 minutes each. Okay, on the 3 principles. The first principle is that money is not a raw material. Money is an outcome or a finished good. Okay, so a lot of businessmen particularly think that unless I got finance, I will not be able to improve my valuation, which I believe personally is not the right thing to do. Okay, what is money? Money, you cannot plan to make money. That is the beauty about money. Right? Money is a byproduct of doing certain things right. If you are an employee, if you are going to do your job well, if you are able to create a unique, distinctive capability around yourself, if you are able to market yourself well, then you are able to generate money. So the goal, while you may say, is to generate money, it is almost in all cases a byproduct. You have to do something else, right? So how does one make money? One makes money by making other people rich. Okay, so this is the first principle that we have to understand. Okay, see, in this world, let's understand, it is very difficult to get money out of anybody's pocket. Right? When we go, we want to buy a shirt, we want to go and check it online, we go and check at 3 shops. You want to buy a phone, you will check at 10 places. It's very hard, no? Why? Because you want to save your money. So just like how we are all very careful about our money, our employers are also very careful when giving out money. If you are in business, our customers are very careful in giving out the money. So the only way to improve your valuation is to figure out how you can make your customer rich. So if you are an employee, who is your customer? Who is your customer if you are an employee? You are your employer, right? Your employer is your first internal customer. So if the employer benefits from you, then he or she is likely to make you rich. If you are a businessman, then if you want to make your customers rich, then there's a likelihood that you will generate money. So the first principle of money is that you can't plan to make it, right? You have to plan to benefit somebody for you to be able to make money yourself. Okay, so that is the first point, that don't think of money as a raw material. Money is a finished product. It's an outcome. It's a byproduct of doing something well. Right? That's the first point. The second point is how to improve your own personal valuation is a question of what is the unique, distinctive characteristic about you or your business. Okay, in simple words, why should somebody come to you? Right? In today's world, everybody's attention span is only for a few seconds. Right? When we see WhatsApp messages, immediately we go. We go to Facebook, immediately we move on. When you're in front of a TV, immediately we switch the channels. Right? So attention span is very short. Now, what is the unique reason why a customer or an employer should choose your business or should choose you? That is a critical thing for you to answer. It is not a simple question. Okay, to say that I work hard is no longer a unique, distinctive proposition. Right? To say that my product is best it is too general. You have to be very specific about what is unique about your product. In other words, why should your customer come to you? If you are a businessman, why should anybody buy from you? If you are an employer, why should that employer continue to hire you? Right? So the unique distinction which is there, it may even morph over a period of time. Okay, that is the thing about today's world. That एक बार आपने कुछ achieve कर लिया तो उसका कुछ मतलब नहीं. It doesn't mean कि you can stay there because the world has already moved on. So your unique distinctive capability, that is your own personal brand, is something that will have to morph over a period of time. Right? So think about what is the USP. Right? There are several very good books on branding. You must take a look to understand, even on personal branding. Okay, for those of you who are students or employees, do take a look. Right? So branding is a subject in itself. Why that is important is because if you don't get your branding right, you don't get your USP right, chances are that you will not be able to get your valuations up. Okay, so understand that part. The third part which you need to understand is, do you understand balance sheet and cash flow? Oh, so he said, you go off. Did I do something wrong?
Sir, any recommendations for personal branding books?
Yeah, I'll come back to that. Hello? 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 So look at a book called Positioning.
Okay.
Always.
So Positioning is it's a very good book.
Bye.
And by Alvis. And hello? Yeah. Am I audible? You are able to have you the mic?
Now.
Now it's better? Take it forward. Keep it here. So, okay, so we're making a point about personal branding. Okay, so positioning, whether you are a businessman or a student or an employee, you will find positioning anyway relevant to you. Right? It's I think it's a textbook for all times. Right? The third aspect which you need to understand is, are you all familiar with balance sheet and cash flow? Okay, so I will keep it very simple. Okay, we will not make this a technical discussion. You need to understand that there are 4 parts here, right? So this part is the balance sheet part, and this is the P&L part. In balance sheet, you've got something called equity. Okay, I'll explain what this is. Equity is a shareholder's funds. It is what you have put into the business, right? Even if you are an individual, you have an equity, and I'll explain how. Then there is loans. Right? Then there is loans, which is a liability, right? Loans that you have taken from somebody. So let's say if you've taken a housing loan, that is sitting as a part of your liabilities. What is sitting in your assets? In your assets, if you're an individual, it could be something like shares, house, it could be a home, right? It could, let's say if you're in business, it's inventory. I don't count a car as an asset, and I'll tell you why. Anything that does not generate income for you is not an asset. Unless it generates cash flow for you, it is not an asset. So in my view, unless you are in the vehicle renting business, if you're an Uber or an Ola, a car is an asset for you. Otherwise, a car is a liability because it only takes money out of your pocket, right? So inventory, debtors, all this is the balance sheet. What is the P&L? The P&L is the revenue, right? If you're a business, it will be revenue. Here it will be salary. What is here in expenses? If you're a business, the expenses could be that goods purchase, could be an expense. You could have something like, let's say, travel expense, right? Or you could have salaries that you're spending. If you're an individual, then you will have something like what you spend on. You will again have travel, you will have entertainment, right? You could have school fees, you will have food, okay, clothes, whatever, right? So why this distinction is important is, most of the people, why they land into, it's a very simple, you don't need to be a chartered accountant to understand this, right? Is it complicated? No, right? All of us do well. In fact, housewives are very good at this because they know exactly what is going on, right? So it's not very complicated. The 99% of the cases why you have a problem is because there is a mismatch between this and this, or there is a mismatch between this and this. Okay, so let us take examples. Have you heard of something called a new insolvency bill? There is insolvency bill, bankruptcy law. There is something called an NCLT now. Okay, so the government has now brought in something. So those of you who are bankers would definitely know. It is about companies who have borrowed thousands of crores and were not able to repay. So वो क्यों हुआ? क्योंकि they have taken a lot of loans and they have put it into places like they might have bought inventory which is not selling, or they use that money to fund the loss. Revenue minus expenses loss. So the moment you take money from here, there will always be some movement between these 4 boxes, right? But if that movement is not balanced, then that's when your company will get into trouble. The same thing even holds good for you as an individual, right? So if you have Amdani, Attorney and Kharcha Rupaya, what happens? You are imbalanced over here. correct? Or if you want to take a large home loan and you do not have a job to support it, what is happening? Essentially, you are eating out of your savings in order to pay back your loans, right? So the reason why understanding this chart is important, and there's a very simple book, I don't know if you have heard of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? So it is definitely a recommended book. Okay, Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a fundamental book because he really kind of talks it at a very basic level to help us understand financial concepts, although you may not be an accounting guru or a finance guru, right? Any movement that happens between this, if you're not able to monitor it, if you're not able to balance this right, will get you into trouble. Okay, so there was the last point that Pranav was making is that do you know your accounts at the end of every day? This is essentially what you have to look at. Okay, do you know how this movement is happening in your books of accounts? Whether you are an individual or you are a business, this movement is still something that should be relevant to you, right? Anytime you go off balance, you will get into trouble. That's a very fundamental principle, right? It's like Newton's law of motion, right? So anything that starts, it will keep going unless there is inertia there or friction that will slow it down, or any action will have an equal and opposite reaction. So money principles, this is very simple, that if you don't get the balance between these four quadrants, right, you are going to be in trouble, right? So I'm going to stop here. The one thing which I'm going to give you as a practical exercise for you to do is you should think about one matter, okay, which I think is a very important thing. But I'm going to do it right here, okay? I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do that exercise. See, ultimately, for you to get any value out of this session, right, you will have to go out and do something differently. The greatest foolishness in life is for us to expect results differently when we keep doing the same things, right? So something has to change. We cannot keep doing the same things and expect people to. So I want you to take on one action, okay? And what is the principle behind this action? The principle behind the action is that in your business or in your life, the most important resource that you have is yourself. Right? The most important resource in your business is not your capital or customers, it is yourself, it is your time, it's your entrepreneurial spirit. As a student or an employee, the most important asset that you have is you yourself. Okay? You are building your valuation, you are building your income streams. What you should be doing now, the next 5 minutes, is to take on a Kosha goal, right? Which has got to be a SMART goal. Okay, do you know full form of SMART? You have come across that acronym. What is S?
Specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound.
Time-bound, very good, right? So that was covered here in this session, or was it covered somewhere else? Right? So for those of you who are seeing it for the first time, please do write it down. S is for specific, M is for measurable, A is for achievable, R is for realistic. Some people call it relevant, whichever way, there's no problem. And T is time bound. Okay. What you are going to do is, I'm going to give you my mobile number. Okay. Whatever you write down in your book, okay, you're going to WhatsApp it to me, right? And I'm not going to force this. It's an option, of course. So if you don't want to share it with me, it's secret. It is all right. You're going to take on a target for yourself, a SMART target in Kosha for yourself. Okay. And I promise to be available to you at the end of 3 months. Okay, what is the time bound? That will be common to everybody. Time bound is 3 months. Okay, so that we are all working on one time frame. So if you feel that you cannot reach your end goal in 3 months, it is okay. You put a milestone. Okay? So we are going from here to Delhi. You may not reach Delhi in 3 months' time. That's okay. But at least you can say I will reach Baroda. That's okay. That is still specific, right? So what can you do in the next 3 months? If you are an entrepreneur, I want to know what is the Kosha goal that you are going to take on for yourself. What is a Kosha goal? So first principle when you are running a business is take accountability for your actions, right? Because all businessmen are trying to put accountability on the people working with them. ये सेल्स वाला मेरे को ठीक से परफॉर्मेंस नहीं दे रहा है, मेरा प्रोडक्ट का आदमी ठीक नहीं है, मेरा बैंकर सही नहीं है, it doesn't give finance. So I'm saying सब भूल जाओ. What is it that you have got control over? Do you have control over your actions? Okay, what is the goal that you will take on? Okay, so let's take responsibility, accountability for our own actions. So if you are a businessman, how many people are businessmen in the room? Okay, so for all businessmen, this should be easy for you. to define what is a smart objective for you personally in the next 3 months' time. Okay? Clear? What is the ask from you? Please send it to me. I'll write my number here. Now, at the end of 3 months, I am happy to spend half an hour with you to help you assess performance against your own target. Okay, I'm not going to come and evaluate whether you hit your target or not. The beauty of SMART is that you yourself will know. It's like a mirror. You yourself will know whether your performance is good, bad or ugly. Okay, but if you want to talk through the performance, to understand what I could have done better, he said, what is the next step? I'm happy to spend half an hour with each one of you. There is no problem, whether face to face or over a call. Okay? Is it clear? All the businessmen in the room?
If you are planning any business right now, so in 3 months, 3 months is too short a period to really get some results, unless and until it's already a...
No problem, so take a milestone. You can fix a milestone, right? So what will it be? Let's say that India and Sri Lanka are playing the 5-day test match. Okay, the ultimate objective is for India to win the test match. But today, I don't know how many of you are cricket fans, but if you are Vijay and Cheteshwar Pujara, when they came to bat today morning, they would have said, okay, our target is we cannot win the match today. Right? But can we say that we will not lose more than 3 wickets and we would have taken the score to at least 300 runs? That is still a very specific measurable target. It's a milestone. Right? So if you are going to create something which is going to take more than 3 months, that is okay, that's understandable. Everything in life will not get done in 3 months' time. But can you at least carve out a milestone out of that big goal? So that is one. Okay, that is the action for all the businessmen. Now for people here who are employees, okay, and who want to continue to stay in employment, right? You think about how you are going to value yourself, okay, and how you can improve your valuation. Right? I'm assuming that you probably want to maximize the salary that you are able to get, right? So how will you do that? So what is your valuation today, and what is your valuation in 3 months' time? And what will you do in order to improve your valuation? So I'll explain to you how to do the personal valuation, okay, since we are on that topic. So you take your salary, okay, and don't take CTC, right? So don't quote me, I know this is being recorded, but don't quote me outside this room. One of the biggest frauds that the accounting profession is doing on people is to have a concept called accrual, right? Accrual. Accrual means that it is not cash flow, right? But the only reality in life is cash. So let's not get confused. So if you are an employee, forget about CTC, right? You think about what is your cash flow. What are you getting in hand, net of tax, okay? Now once you get it, so whatever your salary is, so maybe it is 6 lakhs, I'm just guessing, okay? This is net of tax. Your valuation will be some multiple of this. How many years salary will you multiply? How many years salary will you multiply? This answer to this will range from anywhere from 1 to 10, depending on how much your skill sets are in current demand. Okay, are you understanding this? So if you're in a job, and I'm going to give some examples. So if anybody is in this industry, please don't kill me for giving these examples. But let's say that if you're in the IT hardware business, or if you're in an IT communications business, it's a rapidly commoditizing business. Or if you're working with, say, Airtel or Aircel or any of these guys other than Jio, you are in for a bad time right now. So I would say if 6 lakh is what is your salary, you should consider only one time multiple. So your valuation is 6 lakh. In other words, you are not sure whether I will have a job at the end of 1 year. Okay, be conservative and be honest with yourself when you do this. However, if you are in a business, if you are in a line of employment which is in demand, which is in a growing industry, your specific personal skill sets are very much in demand, then you should don't take more than 10. Okay, because actually 10 also is too much. In today's business, anything more than 2 years is long term, right? So then probably your valuation will be 60 lakh. Nobody's going to come and check this. Okay, this is a framework. Okay, don't get too worried. Oh, 12 lakh, 15 lakh, it's apna kuch personal. Nobody's going to take money out or put money in, right? But this is a framework for you to be able to think. You have to make it quantifiable, because what you can't measure, you cannot control, you cannot grow, right? The idea is I'm trying to give you a quantifiable framework. If you're an employee, you're thinking about 2 things, okay? How do I increase this 6 lakh? And how do I increase the multiple? Because you're doing levers to improve your personal valuation. Okay, so give this a thought, right? So how will you increase this in the next 3 months? What are the actions that you can take to improve this in the next 3 months? Give it a thought. It could either be a reskilling program, maybe you will start looking out for a job, maybe you will write your resume in a way that is different from what it is currently written. Maybe you look for a new role within your existing company. It could be anything, right? So all of these should be something that you can go ahead and put it in. How many students? Okay, so yours is future, right? Because you are not started earning anything, but either you will fall into the businessman category in the future or the employment category. So depending on that, you can choose which one you want to do and go ahead, right? But make this smart, right? I have given my number there. If you don't feel like WhatsApping it to me, it's okay. Don't send it. You can send it to Pranav, Kartika. If you don't want to send it to anybody also, it is okay. Send it to your wife or husband. They are the best people to keep track of whether you are performing correctly or not. Okay, but limited point being that report to somebody on this particular target, report to somebody, right? At the end of 3 months, it will tell you whether you are actually going somewhere or not.
6 years is the average income you have calculated, right?
For somebody, any one person.
And X years salary as in, so the number of years you will be, so 1 to 10, whatever it is. So that's it, right?
Right. Keep it simple, right? In fact, this is how even businesses get valued, right? When you go to the share market, you will take a look at what is your earnings in a year, and then you will take a future discounting, right? So the really valuable companies would get probably a multiple of 30, 40, 50 times. The not so valuable companies will get 3 to 4 times valuation, right? So there's a concept of discounted cash flow that is. Do you take today's earnings and then take a multiple? Let's not worry about future. So that number of years will depend upon what is the quality of your business. So that will be a benchmarking, right? So what is the business that you are in? Real estate. So that will be listed real estate companies. Okay? Okay, so there will be listed real estate companies. So they have got a valuation. So now you have to work backwards. Okay? So they have got a certain profit, they have got a certain multiple. Now you have to see how much discounting is appropriate in your case. Because you are not listed, automatically 30-40% valuation should be down. If you don't have a certain critical mass or size, again, you have to take a haircut. So once you do that, then what is it that will come out? See, if you don't have revenue streams, then don't attempt a valuation, because there's no point. So in other words, your financial goal does not have to be only valuation. If you don't have revenue streams, then the first step is that having the revenue stream becomes a smart objective in 3 months' time. Forget valuation, it will be hoga hoga.
So valuation is based on certain parameters you already said, in comparison to first.
No, so valuation, okay, let us just spend a minute on this without again getting too technical. Valuation is the ability of an asset to produce income, right? So you think of yourself as an asset. If you are an employee, you have an ability to generate income. The question is, what is that ability, right? So is it 60 lakhs, or is it 6 lakhs, or is it 1 crore, 2 crore, what is it, right? So that is the concept of valuation. Anything which does not have ability to generate revenue, you cannot value it. It's hard. That's why e-commerce companies are struggling, right? Because it's very hard. It's only a top line led valuation. So those are unstable models. But I'm just saying that for all of us to keep things simple in this room, you think about what is your ability to generate income, right? So so the question that you asked is what happens if, let's say, there is year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, let's say, right? And suppose it is like this, you become 8, 9, 10, right? So the total of this will be 40, right? This is a concept where every year you are assuming a certain inflation in your income, and then you come to a value of 40, but this value of 40 is coming over a period of 5 years. So what generally, if you look at a really good valuation model, which is again very basics of valuation, is there will be something called a discounting factor. So this, see, if I give you 40 rupees today and I give you 40 rupees in 5 years time, this is the same. What will you take? What will you take? 40 rupees if I give you today. First of all, you will say, "Boss, 40 rupees, then I will give you 40 rupees. But I'm just telling you, if I had to give you 1 crore today or 1 crore at the end of 5 years, what will you take? Today, right? Because you will say, "Boss, इसका पता नहीं है, आज अच्छे मूड में है, आज 1 crore ले लो इससे, 5 साल के बाद पता नहीं क्या होगा." So that is a concept of discounting. So what is worth 40 over a period of 5 years will probably be worth only 30 today. Right? That is called present value or discounting, right? So I am only trying to help you to arrive at what is your value. Either you can take your current earnings and do a multiple, or you can take your future earnings. Obviously, there is an estimated world. So in all these cases, now the one thing we should not worry about, and this is another interesting insight that I have as a finance guy, finance is not a science. Finance is actually not a science, it's an art. Right? So it has to be useful to you. So forget the funda, valuation का methodology क्या है, discounting क्या है, it doesn't matter to you. आपको काम में आ रहा है, उसको वापरो, framework को. Right? So let's be practical about this. Right? So the point here is that don't get too worried. You know, मेरा valuation मैंने गलत निकाल दिया तो वो 60 लाख के बंदे 1 करोड़ हो गया तो क्या होगा? Doesn't matter. You keep your assumptions the same. You keep monitoring it over a period of time. You will figure out how to become comfortable with the model. The limited point I am making is that you have to be able to put a value to your business or yourself, and you have to think about how you're going to maximize that value. If to me that is the biggest takeaway in Kosha. Ultimately, इससे क्या मुझे क्या फायदा होगा एक Kosha lecture सुनने के बाद? Right. So I am making a simple point that do we know what we are worth today, and do I know how to improve that valuation over a period of time? Whether you are a businessman or an employee, it doesn't matter, or a student, it doesn't matter. Right. So you have to work out your mechanism of how you will improve your own valuation. Right. So think about that. Clear? Was it too complicated? That's it. So I tend to move a lot. Sorry. Profit. Generally profit. Right? Because the only thing real is cash, as I was saying. So do you have borrowing in your business? बैंक से आपने कुछ लिया है कर्ज? Correct. तो बैंक आपसे क्या लेती है? Mortgage लेती है. But what do they take from you in cash? Interest, ब्याज देना पड़ता है. It is cash ना. It is not revenue. तो जो profit बनता है उसमें से आप उसको दे रहे हो, right? So it is ultimately any person who is a supplier of money, whether it is a banker or an equity guy, they are suppliers of money. They are going to pay cash return, correct? So a businessman also has to think around the concept of cash generation. Revenue is important. I'm not saying it's unimportant, but we should not get carried away by revenue. The revenue में एक चीज छुप जाता है, which is that your ability to recover from your customers is a very important thing. वो revenue से पता नहीं चलेगा. अगर आपका 10 करोड़ का टर्नओवर है, जिसमें 6 करोड़ आपने किसी को बेचा है, अगर वो दिवाला हो गया, तो what is the use of that 10 crore turnover? Profit तो आपके हाथ में आया नहीं. Correct. So you have to look not only at profit, you have to look at the cash flow. That's what I'm saying. Don't go by accrual method. Accrual method, the only people who are interested is the tax department, right, and chartered accountants. So that is their line. As a businessman, get focused on cash flow. So what are the questions?
So this is a
Okay, so it doesn't matter. Just take a stab at it.
so this is a 6 lakhs is a net amount or gross amount?
Net of tax. Tax is an expense for you. You can like anything else, tax is an expense. एक बार deduct हो गया तो गया वो आपके हाथ से. So don't count. That's what I'm saying. Don't go by concept of gross CTC. It is meaningless.
How do I put the number of years in a startup?
In a startup, okay. So it's a difficult question here. So see, startup valuations. If valuations is an art, I think startup valuation is a fine art. It is almost black magic. Okay. So, because I think all experts are still trying to tear their hair to find out how can you value something like say Amazon, for instance, globally was making losses till this year. They only made profits this year, right? And look at their multi-billion-dollar valuation, right? Or somebody like a Uber, or somebody like a Snapdeal, or Flipkart, or whatever. See, I think that I would nothing against startups. We work with a lot of startups. It's a question of your personal philosophy, right? So when I go to eat, I like certain type of food. Right, so I may like, let's say I like Gujarati thalis a lot. Right, so when I go out, if somebody says, "Can you come out for dinner?" I will say, "यार चलो राजधानी चलते हैं," because I like to eat that. Right, it's a philosophy. उसमें कुछ सही गलत नहीं है. किसी और को पंजाबी अच्छा लगता है, किसी को साउथ इंडियन अच्छा लगता है, ठीक है. Valuations में गेम ऐसा है कि it is a very small proportion of companies, okay, which are startups. So maybe 2% of the companies are startups, but they occupy 98% of the press space. Okay, so it is an extremely over-covered sector. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि मतलब startups is the only way to do business. In startups, the reason why they are getting valuations is because they are betting that in the future something is going to change in terms of the behavior. So why Uber or Ola is so valuable is because they are the investors are betting on only one thing, कि लोग जो है वो खुद के गाड़ी नहीं खरीदेंगे. Nobody wants to use public transport. We all want our elders and ourselves to travel in comfort. We want to travel in safety. That is a behavioral change, which was not there when I was young. When I was in college, even rickshaw we used to think, well, rickshaw में चलना है कि बस में चलना है, right? Because most of us from middle class backgrounds are very careful. Today that is not necessarily their thinking, right? You will say, यार अभी कैब में चले जाते हैं, अभी पार्टी है, मुझे कपड़े खरीदने, वो नहीं करने, खराब नहीं करने, I'll go buy a Uber. It was not very common in the past. So what has changed? The thinking of people has changed. So the investor is giving a valuation because they believe that these companies have caught on to a certain trend. ठीक है, तो आज आपने पैसा नहीं बनाया, ठीक है, लेकिन आपके प्लेटफॉर्म में अगर इतने सारे कस्टमर्स हैं, and you are seeing that customer base is increasing 10-20% every month, they believe that at some point in time this company will become profitable. तो valuation आपको future profitability के लिए मिल रहा है, correct? Now problem that has happened is that a lot of us who are running normal businesses, मतलब which is not startup, because we are reading so much in the press about startup, we are all beginning to think like startups. तो startups क्या सोचता है कि बहुत मुझे टॉप लाइन बढ़ाना है, ठीक है, तो I will take the money and I will burn the money. तो अगर ओला आपको 5 रुपए पर किलोमीटर कर रहा है, Uber will come out with an ad saying कि आप 4 रुपए में ले लो मेरे से, ठीक है, अल्टीमेटली किसका पैसा चल रहा है इसमें? Investor. The investor's money is being burned. Just this. You have taken equity in order to subsidize what? This revenue minus expense जो है, फायदा किसका होगा? कस्टमर का होगा. एक्चुअली वो सस्टेनेबल है ही नहीं. वो जो चीज है वो कम से कम आपको 8 रुपए तो उसका कॉस्ट है, लेकिन अगर वो आपको 4 रुपए में दे रहा है तो जो डिफरेंशियल 4 रुपए का जो नुकसान है वो कौन भर रहा है? दिस इज somebody has to pay for the cost, no? So the cost is coming out of the equity holder's pocket or the investor's pocket. तो वैल्यूएशन जो बंदा दे रहा है स्नैपडील को या फ्लिपकार्ट को, he is paying for the subsidy that is actually going to the customer. Today, if you ask me, I would rather be a customer in India rather than being a private equity fund. क्योंकि मुझे फायदा कस्टमर के होने से हो रहा है rather than being an investor. Because as an investor, my money is being burned to do something. पर मैं ask कि फिर लोग क्यों कर रहे हैं? Because all these people are Harvard educated, water educated, highly professional people. So they are doing it because they believe they are betting billions of dollars on a future trend. Now that is the game. Private equity is a very risky game. उसमें 10 में से कम 8 can be lost. एक या दो में आप प्रॉफिट बनाएंगे, लेकिन एक दो में जो आप प्रॉफिट बनाओगे, it is so big that it will completely cover up for the loss of 8. Right? So somebody like say Tiger Global, he is invested in so many companies. Right? तो क्यों करते हैं लोग ऐसे? क्योंकि उनको लग रहा है कि बस अगर 8 में नुकसान भी हो गया ना तो ठीक है, 2 में जो प्रॉफिट मेरा बनेगा वो इतना बनेगा कि ये 8 मुझे दिखेगा. Right? Now what is the takeaway for us? Okay, what is the takeaway for us? Takeaway for us is A, don't get carried away. Okay, if you are in a brick and mortar business, okay, don't get carried away. See, here is some taking other people's money to burn to get customers. It's a very dangerous game. Why? In India, there is nothing called customer loyalty. It's very hard to get customer loyalty, especially in consumer business. आज गुड़ा अपने को 4 रुपए में दे रहा है, will go. Tomorrow वो झोला will come. तो झोला में 3 रुपए में मिल रहा है, will go there. कल कोला आएगा या झोला आएगा 2.5 रुपए में, तो will go there. अपने को क्या फर्क पड़ता है? We have to do it on the app. So in consumer businesses, there is no customer loyalty in this country. So let's not go into a game where you are either taking money from the bank or from equity in order to subsidize your customers. It is okay to grow slowly. Okay, but the only businesses that will really get valuation in the long term are the businesses that are able to generate cash. जो cash flow generate कर रहे हो, जो आपके पास बच रहा है, उसका value मिलेगा. Have you all heard of the DMart issue? Correct. The DMart issue was very successful because of this. It generates tons of cash every year. Investors love that. That business will always be in demand from investors. Answer your question. Somebody here asked the question. So the wrong answer to the question. Any other questions?
सर अभी आपने बोला कि स्नैपडील 8 में अगर लॉस जाता है 2 में प्रॉफिट कर रहा है, ठीक है, So how they can find out कि दो में मुझे profit होगा ही?
नहीं पता है.
हाँ, but Snapdeal and Flipkart now is in loss, no?
It's a loss.
Yeah. So how they are survived?
So they don't know. So for example, you have to think about, don't think of how Snapdeal is thinking.
हाँ.
Snapdeal क्या सोच रहा है कि बॉस मैं वैल्यूएशन कैसे बढ़ाऊँ,
हाँ.
so that I can get more money from investor.
Yeah, right.
और मैं वो कस्टमर को कैसे बांटूँ कि मतलब मेरा जो बेस ऑफ कस्टमर है वो बढ़े.
हाँ.
ठीक है. They are not thinking about how to make money.
But they are working in loss ना. Customer बढ़ रहा है.
Sorry, so what's your question?
Yeah. अभी आपने बोला Snapdeal working with the 8 product in loss.
No, I'm not saying Snapdeal is working. I am saying the investor.
Yeah.
जो अगर suppose Tiger Global is an investor.
हाँ, okay.
उसने अगर 10 कंपनी में पैसा लगाया है, तो
Okay.
Snapdeal is one of the 10 companies. उसमें से ऐसा होगा कि वो पैसा बनाएगा 2 कंपनी और 8 companies he will lose money. You got it? So Snapdeal can make money, lose money. That's a separate issue. But as an investor, when you are invested in multiple companies, the private equity game is never based on one entity. कोई भी प्राइवेट एंटिटी ऐसा नहीं है, प्राइवेट इक्विटी एंटिटी या वेंचर कैपिटल एंटिटी जो सिर्फ एक कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करके बैठ जाता है. नहीं, दे आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन मल्टीपल थीम्स. करेक्ट. सो यू लुक एट समथिंग लाइक कोयो रूम्स. इट्स अ डिफरेंट थीम. इट इज डिफरेंट टू ओला. Correct. So there are multiple themes like Tracto. Have you heard of Tracto? Correct. That's a different theme. So they are playing on the healthcare. So there are multiple themes that are playing out in the Indian market. तो हर एक थीम में कुछ इन्वेस्टर रहते हैं, उनको हेल्थकेयर अच्छा लगता है, किसी को कंज्यूमर गुड्स अच्छा लगता है, जो भी अच्छा लगता होगा. Based on their investment philosophy, they go in and make the investment. I am making the point कि जब भी वो investment करते हैं ना, उनको पता नहीं होता. It is like going to a casino. Right? When you go to the casino, you know you're going to win money or lose money. ठीक है, लेकिन because you have played in the casino before, आपको लग रहा है कि नहीं यार ये जो roulette table है ना, इसमें शायद मेरा पैसा बढ़ेगा. I'm making the example very. It is not as bad as gambling, but I'm just saying that honestly, when you put the money, the investor has got no idea. वो किस पे इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है. एक दो चीज़ पे इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है. एक तो आगे चल के जो उसको लग रहा है कि ये ट्रेंड बढ़ेगा मार्केट, उसके ऊपर इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है. एंड सेकंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, ही इज इन्वेस्टिंग इन द पर्सन हु इज रनिंग द कंपनी. दैट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. तो अगर वो प्रमोटर पे उसको भरोसा नहीं है ना, तो नो मैटर हाउ मच द मार्केट अपॉर्चुनिटी इज, वो आपको पैसा नहीं देगा. सो इट इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन दीस टू थिंग्स. दिस इज व्हाट इन्वेस्टर लुक्स एट व्हेन ही इज पुटिंग मनी. So I just want to clarify one thing. I am not saying that don't do your startup or don't look to raise money. All I am saying is guard against the tendency. आजकल सिस्टम क्या है कि people say कि मुझे पैसा लेना है, कंपनी को स्केल अप करके बेच के निकल जाना है. ठीक है, that you have to be little careful about. So I don't think that is a right strategy to actually make money, because if money is a byproduct, you have to have a business plan. You have to solve a problem in the market. The business problem is not the how you can increase the valuation and sell your company. That is not the business problem. Business problem, what Snapdeal is solving or Amazon is solving is कि जो customer जो घर बैठे बैठे, how do I give them a choice of products that may not be available in this locality at the cheapest possible rate? They are solving a business problem. That's why they got a valuation. Correct? But when an entrepreneur starts the business, and this is where I think a lot of people are going wrong. पैसे क्यों लेते हैं? एक तो फैशनेबल हो गया कि बॉस मेरा स्टार्टअप है, मैंने पैसा लेना है. That's one thing. It's a good thing to go and tell my friends. Second thing is I feel that my goal in life is कि कैसे ना कैसे ये कंपनी को बेच-बाच के मेरे को अपना पैसा बना के निकालना. Right? You may be able to do that. If you're trying to do that, it's okay again. But be conscious. You still have to build a business case. Okay, investors are not fools. Right? तो जो फंडिंग 3 साल पहले हुए हैं, बहुत सारे कंपनीज में जो फंडिंग हुआ 3 साल पहले, the same investor is not going to put any further money in these companies. क्यों? क्योंकि उसको बिजनेस मॉडल नहीं दिख रहा है. अब कब तक पैसे जलाते रहोगे? At some point you have to change the business strategy ना. अगर वो strategy आप दिखा नहीं पाओगे ऐसा प्रॉब्लम, why will investor give you money?
So one of the aspects of valuation is the customer base, right? Now I have always failed to understand this. I am a customer to Amazon, to Snapdeal, to Flipkart, to Jabong. Am I valued 10 times? That is fictitious, fake, or how do you?
You're buying from all of us.
Today I bought from Amazon, but I'm not necessarily going to buy from Amazon tomorrow. If I get it cheaper at Snapdeal, I will go to Snapdeal.
So see, there is something like this. If you got Amazon, you got Flipkart, there is something that you're spending every year. Okay. So you would be contract-free customers. उसमें I can tell you straight away, उसमें कुछ doubt नहीं. But what the investor will still look at is what is the GOP or the gross merchandise value. तो उसमें तो double counting नहीं हो सकता. लाइक आपने भी अमेज़न में 50,000 रुपये का सामान खरीदा एक साल में, इसमें आपने 20,000 खरीदा, इसमें 30,000 खरीदा, करेक्ट? सो यू हैव स्पेंट अ लाख ऑफ रुपीज, ये 1 लाख रुपये जो ये डबल तो नहीं होगा, करेक्ट? सो हाउ दे विल काउंट इज टू से दैट when Amazon valuation is being done, they will count you as one customer, unique customer, who has got a GMV of 50,000. Okay, like that, like you, there will be a lot of people. So they will say, what unique users जो हैं are maybe 10 million unique users versus the amount average spend per annum. Like how in mobile we do ARPU. So what is the average revenue per user? Right, 400 rupees, this gets calculated, and then you do 100 on this. So it is black magic, but it is not. It is not absolutely. It is not completely unscientific.
Here, the airline industry, if you see, which is very, very consolidated, people have not learned lesson even after 10 years or so. Because they are still going on playing the same game. And I don't think that anybody has been successful so far.
Except Indigo.
Indigo is because of their, I will to say, purchase models. Correct. That is the only thing. It's not an operational profit they are getting.
Right. Yeah. So airline industry globally has always been a loss-making industry. Right. So the question is why investors continue to do it.
Exactly.
I think it's a stylish sector to be in. Right. I mean, why did Vijay Mallya decide to put money in Kingfisher? It's got more logic. I mean, he was making enough money on selling the beer and the liquor. It was a cash cow. What his father had given him, right? But he chose to put money in an airline because it's a more stylish business.
So, but is our airlines perpetually loss making because of a cash flow loss or because their asset value has such a high level of depreciation?
No.
That,
so there are multiple reasons for it, right? So whenever cheaper capital comes into the market in any industry, it will keep subsidizing customers, okay, and it will depreciate the value of the earlier investment. Okay, so there is a problem in airline industry. The current airlines are making losses, but you still have somebody like Kalanidhi Maran who said, I will go and buy SpiceJet. So पता था कि ये company lost before he took it over. He took it and it went even more in loss, right? But the fact that the company was loss making didn't stop him from putting capital. So whenever this is called dumb capital, it is not an informed decision. It's an emotional decision. कि उसको लग रहा है मतलब वो गलत नहीं सोच रहा है, he is thinking that अगर मैं पैसा डालूंगा तो मेरे लिए ये I will be able to make profit out of this, right? So every time this kind of new dumb money comes, what happens is how will he make money? He will say यार मुझे भी fares सस्ते करने हैं because I want to increase my utilization factor. तो जब भी वो करता है तो all other airlines also are forced to bring down the prices, which means investors in those companies are taking a loss. So the problem I think in today, this is a factor that has happened in the last 10-15 years. ये पहले नहीं था या बाहर भी नहीं था, लेकिन 15 साल से भी ट्रेंड क्या हो रहा है कि there has been a lot of shift of this equity money to subsidize. It is huge, this trend. Some entrepreneurs have made money, they have made big money, they have made a killing in this. But equally, investors have also lost a lot of money.
Basically, everyone wants to be a cost leader.
Nobody wants to be a cost leader. पैसे का ऐसा है ना कि there is no limitation of capital, and if anybody is planning to raise funds, let me tell you also good news. I think if you look at supply and demand, like everything, money is a commodity. It's all supply. You can call it debt, equity, whatever. It's all still supply. I think there is too much supply of cash, and there are very few good investable products or ideas going on. And more importantly, the number of honest, hardworking, smart businessmen in this country is extremely limited. Right? So I think there are a lot of smart people. Honesty, I think is still a question mark. But I feel that the number of entrepreneurs who tick all the boxes are very limited. So if you are an entrepreneur who is really willing to spread it out, if you are going to take, like they say in stock market, कि अगर आपने कोई भी स्क्रिप्ट लिया, मतलब कोई ढंग का स्क्रिप्ट लिया, you don't do any active trading. आपने 10 साल रखा उसको, you bought Unilever, you bought L&T, you cannot choose it. It is statistically proven. When you read Warren Buffett, Benjamin, whatever, Franklin, it doesn't matter. Right? Everybody says the same thing. The possibility of that you will make a profit in 10 years' time if you hold a script is 99.99%. It is scientifically proven. It is a law of money. Similarly, if you are willing to give your business 10 years' time, and this calls for a lot of internal stamina, entrepreneurial stamina, you cannot go wrong. you cannot go wrong. Of course, you can't just be sitting there. You have to keep reinventing, working hard to change your business model. But today is a great time to be an entrepreneur because people like you are stars. Today there is a premium for good ideas. There is no premium for supply of capital. You will get the money. There is too much money. There is too much domestic money, and there is too much global money that is waiting to come into India. What we have seen so far is just a tip of the iceberg.
Hotel industry is similar to airline industry, right? Making supreme losses.
Really, so I don't think this is a generic rule. Like there are enough number of hotels that are making money.
Said private equity are high values.
They know how to do it. They know how to do it.
Hotel industry, like both are same glamour jewels.
Yeah, exactly.
Industry, real estate.
So, like, I'll give you some positive examples. Like, we work very closely with the Jatias. They are a Delhi-based family. They own the Jatias and Hyatt. The Jatias and the staffs own the Grand Hyatt. It's a super profitable business. So I don't think it's, or you look at, I don't know if you know Duke's Retreat, but we work with them. It's a very profitable business.
So, percentages, are they not at 20% profitable rest are all leading? My question was, when you spoke financial discipline, we dream of every business people today, startup or other, just to do what the plan is like. Sustainable growth. So, from the perspective of financial discipline, what are the few things that you talk about the way that would go down the way?
I think it's really about the last point that we saw here, right? And you have to be aware about what you're doing, right? I'm not necessarily saying that don't make a loss. There will be loss later on that also this time, right? Because you want a strategic view that you will give you more business, you want an opportunity to work with something. You just sell at a loss. But be conscious about it is the point. Right? You should all start signing. The basic thing that like when we in the more philosophical or spiritual side, what do they say that control your mind and what is the best way to do it is to introspect, right? You take half an hour every day just to watch your own breathing, right? And that slowly brings down the level of thought activity in your mind. Right? So you begin to see what are the thoughts in your mind, right? That's what they do, right? That's the first step to. So it is about introspection. It's about measurement. You are sitting down every day on a disciplined basis to say कि आज जो मुझे देखना है क्या है. It's like a small summary at the end of that day. So I feel that businessmen understand this, but they don't do it in practice. It is like me. I know that I have to get up in the morning and go for a job because I'm at least 10 kilos overweight. मुझे वो समझ में आ रहा है, right? But I'm not able to put it in practice. उसका क्या reason है? That's what we all are. We're all human beings. Right? उसका कोई logic नहीं. So businessmen go on there. They are not able to sit down on this basis. It's like a mirror. You have to put a mirror every day in front of yourself. Then you yourself can see whether I'm looking good, whether I've combed my hair, whether my face is oily, right? Whether my dress is looking good, right? If the button is correct or not correct. But if you don't take time to look at the mirror, it's a problem. So either you do it yourself or you get somebody to do it. But either way, measurement and review is correct. So that it sounds very simple, but it's hard to do.
You started with about finance and Kosha and spirituality. How do you balance the two?
So I come from a school of thought that it is possible to balance both. And I feel that they also feed off each other. So for instance, when I say that, so let's take an example of Sakshi Bhav. Actually, it is going in a different direction. But you have heard of Sakshi Bhav? Sakshi Bhav is that you take yourself out of your situation. Okay, suppose what's your name? Madhvi. So you just imagine, Madhvi, that your body is there, your mind is there. But you have come here. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. This is not some good story, don't worry. Right? So suppose you come here and you are observing you as a different individual. Right? That is Sakshi Bhav, right? So what you are saying is that whatever actions I am doing, okay, my mind and body are not me. I am something beyond mind and body, right? So when I am watching it, I am watching it as a witness, as a third person. So there is a beautiful text called Drik Drishya Vivek. You should read it, it's a beautiful text. So it is about the seer and the seen. So you are the seen, but you, that is the real you, which is, you call it Atma, Soul, Brahman, whatever. When you come here, you are watching yourself. Then you become the seen, and the higher you is the seer. So that is called Sakshi Bhakti. You are able to see your own self in a dispassionate or an objective view. Correct? So how do you bring that concept into business? You want to bring that concept into business by saying that, can I take myself out of the business? Don't get emotional about your business. Don't feel that मैंने बहुत मेहनत किया है, मेरा business है बहुत solid है. No, you come out and you objectively measure your business to say what it really is. Correct? So you can bring the concept of Sakshi Bhava from our philosophy, from ancient philosophy, from what Adi Shankar has done, and you can correlate to science of measurement that maybe Peter Drucker has talked about. I don't see any conflict in this. This is operating at two different levels. Drik, D-R-I-K, Drishya, Vivek. Drishya is the scene. Picture that you see, and Vivek is the intelligence. So this is an example.
Who's the author?
I think it's Adi Shankar.
Is it in English?
So the text is in Sanskrit. I'm sure there are lots of. I mean, I'm 100% sure Chinmay Mission has got an English commentary on it. I'm sure there will be a lot of other people who will. So that's an example of how a spiritual concept could be brought in over here. Or let's take the concept of. I love this topic. Okay, so let's take a concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. You heard of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam?
Yes.
We say that the whole world is actually an extended family. Okay? As an entrepreneur, I think it's a really useful concept to make. Right? Where you are saying that whether it's my customer, my vendor, or my employees, I want to take them as a part of my Kutumbakam. Right? So I don't see a difference in the two. See, this path now, again, in philosophical terms, there is a path of Shreyas and Preyas. Right? Preyas is a shortcut. So people easily, अपना मन करता है कि यार चलो कर दो. Shreyas will take time. It is like Ayurvedic medicine versus allopathic medicine. Shreyas will take time, but it will take you there. The question is कि whether we bring to follow the path of Shreyas. Today's world problem is कि अपने पास वो patience नहीं है. So our conviction is not there. Yeah, I can get to this goal with this thing. That's why people end up. So people understand this is what Kutumbakam, Sakshi Bhava, but I'm on the point कि why we are not able to implement it. Because वो मुश्किल है. It's like me getting up with the money. It is tough to get up. वो गुलाब जामुन दिखता है तो खाना बहुत इजी है, लेकिन वो सुबह उठ के खाना आई नो आई वुड डू इट टू कंपनसेट, बट यू anyway, so this is a question of introspection ourselves to be able to see whether we are correct. So there are a lot of examples of Rajrishis and very evolved kings, like Janaka, for instance. He's a very evolved king, okay, but he was spiritually extremely advanced. But he was also very rich. I don't see any problem with that. In fact, I think both feed off each other. The ability to stay unemotional from your business. If you are able to build that because of your spiritual needs, it's only going to help you in the business. You cannot go against it. We need a full session on this. What else? Anything else? How are we doing on time? Not useful.
Yeah.
Also, if it's all over the place. I just want, there is maybe 35 into 1.5 hours of time, 50 hours of time. I just want it to be productive for you. So take away that one action. Have you finished an exercise or no? Smart. Finished? You need time? 3 minutes to write down your goal. Smart goal. Have you finished? So write it. You want to do it now or do it later? Later. Okay, if you are going to send it to me, please write your name and number. Please Chanakya and Rishi Keshwar know who it is. Make a note and then 3 months time, please call me. Okay, don't wait for me to respond. Just call me and have this with something. What else? Any other questions, thoughts?
Isn't raw materials, it is
It's an end product.
yeah, but and what were the other?
I think in South Indian families, we like to have extra long names. So my full name is Odayadu Venkataraman Srinivasan Iyer. But I'm not writing the whole thing here. It is, it's Venkataraman. There's a A after the T. Venkataraman.s. If I knew at birth that I was going to be a CA and I have to sign a lot of papers, I would have told my parents not to keep such a long name. It's not efficient to keep signing.
All in capitals?
No, I deliberately wrote in capitals because my handwriting is quite bad. But if you put it in small,
If a startup goes for investment, then the investor sees the future trend or sees the current money that the startup is doing.
it is both. But I think what they really see, they see whether you are clear where you are going. Because आपने एक बार story दे दिया, when you bought the money, ठीक है? That time you gave some projections. This is how the business is going to be. 3 महीना 6 महीना honeymoon period. No questions asked. Then the board meetings will start. Right? And they will say, अच्छा वो plan up करो जो आपने दिखाया था. You said your company is worth 5 million and you took 2 million from us. ठीक है? So the company, the investor gave you 12 crores. But you would have told something. This is my plan. My revenue will go up so much, profit will go up so much. तो आपको जवाब देना पड़ेगा 6 महीने के end में. 8 out of 10 times the entrepreneur is running behind the target. ठीक है? तो इन्वेस्टर कुछ नहीं करता है. इन्वेस्टर बोलता है ठीक है इसको टाइम दो. ये नो ये होने वाला है. Another 6 months. We will now give another projection. Correct? So it's ultimately it's a question of credibility. You cannot keep fooling them all the time. And if you are not consistent, you are not able to sell a coherent story. See, गलती होना is normal. Any investor understands it. And if they were so smart, they should have started the business themselves. तो ऐसे नहीं कि उनके पास सारे answers हैं. You have come to you because they believe you have the answers. Right? So it is okay to make mistakes. Investor will not hang you for that. But if you go on changing your story, every 6 months, 3 months, you're going to change the story, and you keep missing your targets, then it's a problem.
अगर इनके जो current profit भी दे रहा है और बोला कि future 5 years later
So ये क्यों रुकेगा? वो तो आपको बोलेगा ना कि 5 साल तक. What is the see if you have already told him in the beginning कि 5 साल के बाद profit मिलेगा, तो शायद वो invest करेगा ही नहीं. Correct. So you are forced to then say कि आप Excel में एक plan बनाओगे कि अभी वो 1.5 साल में मेरा profit मिलेगा. That's what most people do. ठीक है? तो अभी 1.5 साल के end में if you go to tell him कि और 5 साल लगेगा, he is going to stop investing money. So आपका फायदा क्या होगा? See, our success now is not in getting money from the investor. That is not success. Success is in growing the business valuation. आप उसको एक बार उल्लू बना सकते हो. I'm not saying जानबूझ के आपने किया. Once you sold the concept, ठीक है आपने पैसे ले लिए. But that is not success for you. वो पैसा आपके पास नहीं आया. पैसा business में गया. Business से it went to customers, it went to employees, it went to your debtors, creditors, wherever it went. You are not benefited anything personally. आपके जेब में एक पैसा नहीं आया. Right? So you make money only when the business makes money. You understand? So when we get it, that's what I'm saying. You have to be very clear why you are taking money. Right? The only way that money will come into your pocket from an investor is if you are already existing, you are running a business. ठीक है? The investor is saying कि boss आपके business में आपको पैसा नहीं चाहिए क्योंकि वो already profitable चल रहा है. तो मुझे आप partner बना दो. तो then you will say कि boss अगर business में अगर पैसा नहीं चाहिए तो आप मुझे दे दो. तो मैं share मैं आपको भेज दूँगा. Got it? So then that way the money comes to you. But that assumes that you are already running a profitable business in which there is an investor interest. ऐसे नहीं कि all profitable businesses the investors are excited about investing. The investable market is only 10%, 8% of the total businesses. What I'm saying? Does that answer your question? Or? Thank you. There are no further questions. Thank you all for being patient here. Once again, thank you for having me here.
Any other recommended reading apart from Kosha?
So I think I like Good to Great for people who are already running businesses. I think Good to Great is a very good book. For people who are in employment, who are looking to so employment में जो है I think you should read this book by Subrata Bagchi. It's a very nice book.
One key is the one.
उसके पहले वाला कौन सा? Just Google
Excellence in the book, excellence in the office.
Sorry?
No, there is one book which I know, that is excellence in the workplace.
See, Subrata Panchikara book is very nice. It talks about how employees can maximize the value at the workplace. So just
I think that's the same book.
same one.
I have the photograph of that book.
We should just separate it to the class.
I'll show you. If it is the correct one, then I'll share.
Yeah, what I'll do, मैं प्रणव को ऐसे I've got a very, apart from bad handwriting, I've got bad memory also.
Do you mean the high performance entrepreneur?
High Performance Entrepreneur is the first book, then there's a second book,
The professional?
The Professional.
Yeah, that's the one.
Done? Okay, thank you folks, have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
So, best students, first of all, thank you for the conversation. Your guidance has always helped us. In fact, we spoke a lot of things on similar lines because obviously your mentoring has also put us in the same track. We spoke about Richard Kodak, spoke about startups and cash flows. So, my cash flows are important and how we provide valuations.
I hope I didn't already.
No, sir, absolutely not.
Because we'll have a bunch of very confused people there.
No, in fact, I think it's got more clearer for everyone that how do we want to look at a company from a finance point of view. Then, प्रतिपक्ष भावना से देखना है तो we have to see that how can we detach ourselves from the business, look at it from an outsider to our own business. Like I was telling someone today that the 7 pillars which are there. Every time now that you're facing a business challenge or you want to keep analyzing your business, what we do at our offices, every day we sit with the 7 pillars and we check on ourselves every day that, is Swami in place, is Amartya in place, is my Janpada in place, is my Kosha in place, and that is why it gives us that tool, or I would say it gives us that ability to detach ourselves from that function and analyze it within ourselves. So that is where the 7 pillars helps us. Quickly on what next. Next week, we again meet from 6 to 9. The first half we will spend on doing a group discussion where everyone will share what they have understood in the 7th pillar and how they would be able to implement it in their own functions or whatever they are doing. And then we start from the second half onwards presentation. So we're giving 10 minutes to everyone. For prepare PPT, you are most welcome. So presentations on how would you implement the 7 pillars in your business. We continue this to the last week as well, that is the 9th. The first half we'll spend on this. We will be calling Shubha Joshi ma'am to do the finishing session for this. We want her blessings as well. So that will be there on 9th. So we are not able to get a full day session because the venue is not available. Shifting it to Sunday was not possible.
Second is what time?
Same 6 to 9. Both we are doing 6 to 9. We're not doing full days. Second is Saturday. Like Saturday and Saturday after. We keep the Saturday then on as well. If we go by the timetable, the only thing is the full days are not there. We're just keeping 6 to 9. We miss a few hours in this, but unfortunately the venue is not available. We are launching the second batch for the same program. But this will be like a 1-week program starting on Monday the 11th of December and completing on 17th Sunday, 17th of December. It will also work from 6 to 9, it will be a 1-week thing. So if you have any friends, family.
Last year also 6 to 9.
Yeah, 6 to 9. So friends, family, anyone you would recommend, please let us know that we will start taking governments on company guys there with them. So you can let us know. So start preparing your presentations. This video will be uploaded by tomorrow or day after max. You are left with the problem, so just get it done. Rest all are there, so start preparing your presentations. Anything else you have in mind?